Now, one thing I love doing in every NHL game is creating my own franchise, and that's what I did today with the Fort Wayne Outlaws. You have not heard of this team until this moment right here, but I'm going to be the GM over the next 25 years. I'm going to be controlling every move that the Fort Wayne Outlaws make, and I'm going to turn this team into a dynasty. Right now, there is no history with this team. There is no players, only 0 overalls. But over the next 25 years, not only am I going to turn them into a dynasty, but I'm going to turn them into one of the greatest NHL franchises in history. But there's only one way we can do that, and that's by getting superstar players. So in year number 1, we are doing absolutely nothing. We are rocking with 0 overalls, and we're going to get the first overall pick. Just kidding. We all know we're going to drop from the first overall to the third overall. It happens every year, and of course it's going to happen again. So let's just go ahead and completely tank this season. It does not matter what our coach says here. I'm not even going to listen to bro. We have 0 overalls. We're losing every game this season. That is a fact. Also, just in case you were curious on how bad this team's actually going to be, well, we're allowing about 18 goals per game right now, and that was in the preseason. The preseason teams are going to be the worst teams we face this season. Now that the regular season is officially started, we're allowing about 20 goals per game. So we're off to a great start. Also, I'm declining all of these guys on waivers. I don't want to bring them to the team and then force them to play with 0 overall players, because that's the big problem. I could bring all these guys to the team, but they have to play with 0 overall players, and I don't want to do that to them. Okay, we just got offered this trade from the Kraken, and I don't hate it. Jared McCann, you wouldn't be terrible on our team. Yes, we have to give up 2 second-round picks, and these are going to be valuable second rounders. However, do we bring Jared McCann to the team, retain half of his contract for the next 2 years, and flip him? No, I think that's some high IQ moves right there. Jared McCann, welcome to the team. I am now going to flip you and retain half of your contract over the next 2 seasons, because I don't want you to play really any games with us, because that's going to destroy your numbers, and we can't have that. Okay, I just need to point this out. We are not that far into the video, but Mason McTavish is now on the Chicago Blackhawks. Geez, I wonder what the Chicago Blackhawks gave up for Mason McTavish. Clearly, they wouldn't give up a very valuable pick, being their first round pick for 2026. Oh, they would. You gave up a first round pick for Mason McTavish. What on earth are you doing? We are not this deep into the video to be seeing stupid things like this. Alright, now we're going to try to get a little bit stupid here. Jared McCann at 50% retained for a 2029 first round pick and a 2030 first round pick from the New Jersey Devils. I have no clue how good the Devils are going to be 4 or 5 years down the line, but in the event that they're a bad team, I think we're fleecing. So I'm going to offer this package over to the Devils. They're going to be rejecting. We might only be able to get 1 first round pick. However, if you're only going to be giving me 1 first round pick, how about you give me somebody a little bit more valuable? How about you give me Seamus Casey? And then I can flip Seamus Casey for probably a 2nd round pick. They're going to be rejecting. They just want a 7th round pick, and I can do this. So here's a 7th round pick for 2026. We're getting a 2030 first round pick back in the deal, but we're also going to get to flip Seamus Casey. And then what can we do with Seamus Casey? Well, I can send him over to the Colorado Avalanche. We can get a 2nd and 4th round pick back. So after everything was said and done, we traded away our 2nd round pick for the upcoming draft, but we got Colorado's 2nd rounder instead. So basically, we just dropped back in the draft. We traded away our 7th round pick for 2026. We traded away a 2nd round pick for 2027. We got a 4th round pick back for 2027 though, and then the main piece in all of this, a 1st round pick from the Devils in 2030. How good is this team going to be 5 years from now? We'll have to wait and see, but I think that's going to be a really good move for us. Retaining the money on Jared McCann's contract is not going to hurt us at all. That's either going to turn out to be the greatest trade of all time or the biggest waste of time of all time. I clowned this organization. I clowned them, and they won a Stanley Cup in year number 1. Keep in mind, we didn't reset the NHL or anything. This is the 2025-2026 Chicago Blackhawks. That turned out to be one of the greatest trades of all time. They traded their 1st round pick away from Mason McTavish and probably something else. I don't know what else they got, but they won the Stanley Cup. That makes no sense. So it's good to see we're off to an incredibly realistic start. The Florida Panthers aren't going to win the Stanley Cup because the Chicago Blackhawks are. This can only be capped off with Chicago taking down the Florida Panthers. I need to know if this happened. The Chicago Blackhawks are going to beat the Montreal Canadiens in a 7-game series. The Montreal Canadiens were a wildcard team. The Buffalo Sabres made the playoffs. This postseason was utter stupidity. The San Jose Sharks even made the playoffs. What are we talking about? I don't know what Mickey Mouse league this is. I don't know what Mickey Mouse runs those were, but none of that made any sense. And you know what? We have to cap it off some more stupidity. Allow us to get the 1st overall pick. The draft went as expected. The first pick's getting the first overall, the second pick's getting the second overall, the third pick's getting the third overall. Miracles do happen. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are actually going to get the first overall pick. There's only two things that can make this season even better. One, there being a franchise potential player projected number one, and two, you subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already, of course, hit the subscribe button down below. We're trying to hit 88k subs by the end of the month, and every subscription helps. So now that you've subscribed to the channel, are we going to walk away with a franchise potential player projected number one? It doesn't look like it. It looks like we're going to be let down, but you know what? I'll take Heiskanen. Heiskanen is going to be a franchise player for us. We're going to build our franchise around this man, starting off as an 80 overall medium elite potential. He's a sniper that only scored 6 goals last season. That's perfectly fine. He's joined the Fort Wayne Outlaws, and he's going to be a superstar. Also, just in case you were wondering, that second round pick that we traded away, well, it turned into this medium top 9 potential player. So if we walk away with a medium top 9 potential player with Colorado's second round pick, then we definitely pulled off some amazing moves during the season. Now, I guess the real question is this player I'm about to draft going to have better than medium top 9 potential? He has inaccurate scouting, low elite potential, but I think it might be worth the risk. I mean, we could just take Robert Bang, then we know for a fact we get medium top 9, but I want to live dangerous. I'm going to take the guy who might have low elite potential. What are we walking away with? Low top 6? That's better than medium top 9, so we absolutely fleeced with those trades. And you know what? Things continue to look good for us. A medium top 9 potential player in the third round. We could have gotten a player like this in the second round, but instead we trade our second round pick away along with a second round pick for next season. We got Jared McCann. We worked some magic, and things are looking amazing for the Outlaws so far. But things are about to look even better, because who are we walking away with when it comes to the 100th overall pick? Well, we're not messing around. We're taking this man 13 picks early. We're getting Oduya, a medium-elite potential goaltender. He could potentially be our future franchise goaltender. Now, the amazing drafting is not done quite yet. Now we're getting a low-elite potential grinder. Okay, I did not realize that bro was a grinder. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have drafted him. Now, Heiskanen, I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I'm likely not going to sign you in year number one, even though you'd be the best player on this team. I want to make sure that you have a bit of a supporting cast when I bring you to the team. So I guess it really depends on who we get in free agency. If we get some studs in free agency, then maybe you can join the team. So we have ourselves $80 million in cap space to work with. We can bring whoever we want to the team, but of course we have to be smart with these signings. We can't do anyone for too long of term. I think the maximum years I want to bring someone to the team for is going to be 3 seasons. So how about we just start throwing out bags, and the first bag is going to be thrown at Niko Mikkola. He has max contract and organizational interest, so I think we can probably save a little bit of money. I'll do 5.8 for the next 3 years. Niko Mikkola, welcome to the team. You're going to be the first official Outlaw. Now, after bringing a defenseman to the team, how about we bring in a forward, and the next player is going to be Evander Kane. I'll do $5 million for 1 season. Do you want to be an Outlaw as well? It looks like it. So I think as long as we sign players who have max organizational interest, we'll be able to roster a pretty solid team. Moving on to Kiefer Sherwood next. How about we do $4.3 million for the next 2? I know your contract interest isn't really up there. I'm not really too worried about that. Whether we get you or not, it's not the end of the world. When it comes to Jane Schwartz, we should be able to do a pretty cheap deal. How about we do $3.6 million for 1 season? You might end up playing some top line minutes for me. I guess we'll find out sooner than later. Jason Dickinson, I really need anyone on this team, so here's 2.3 for the next 3. Bobby McMahon, you are a stick on the ice legend, and I will 1000% play you on the top line. You're a top line player for me. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say 1000%. You'll be a top 6 player. I shouldn't guarantee you first line minutes. Adam Henrique, you can be a good veteran on this team, so here's 1.7 for the next 2. I believe I saw Warren Fogel's name available, and he's definitely one guy I would love to bring to the team. He's looking for a 2-year contract at $2.4 million. We can 1000% do that. Now I think I'll just go ahead and sign the rest of our team. You don't need to see absolutely every signing. It's just going to be a lot of guys like Sean Lawton. Just kidding. I know it's Scott Lawton, but in my heart, he will always be Sean Lawton. So moving into year number 2, Heiskanen is not going to be debuting with the team. I'm giving him another year to develop overseas. I just don't want him playing with this team right here, because this team ain't it. And if you're wondering why we still have 0 overalls on the team, well, I gave them too long of contracts, and now they're stuck here. The only way I can get rid of them is if I buy them out. So that's what we're going to be doing during the re-sign phase next season. We're going to be buying a handful of these 0 overall players out, and then we'll bring in actual NHL players next season. So because because of the 0 overall players, don't expect us to do too much. Now, I don't think it's going to be much of a surprise when I tell you that the Fort Wayne Outlaws are one of the worst teams in the entire league. They are the worst. A 17-45-3 record. There's nothing this team is good at right now. We can't score goals and we allow far too many. However, we do have a couple guys that are performing this season. Jane Schwartz, 49 points, Evander Kane, 48, Bobby McMahon, 45, Kurashev, 43. I'm thinking there might be a possibility we can trade some of these guys away and maybe even get some assets back. Like Evander Kane's an 86 overall. I can retain half of your contract. Eric Comrie has 4 shutouts so far. I don't care about wins, losses, or even OT losses. How on earth does this man have 4 shutouts? Nah, he's really like that. We got to put respect on Eric Comrie's name. There is no reason this man should have 4 shutouts with this team. Taking a quick look at trade values, Evander Kane's really isn't too high. Bobby McMahon's has skyrocketed quite a bit. We're not going to trade him quite yet though. We're going to hold on to him for a little bit more. But Evander Kane, I will ship you out. Alright, I think I'm on to something. Evander Kane at 50% retained. Scott Perunovich and Kurashev both sent over. We're going to bring in Connor Ollie. He's a medium elite potential defenseman. Currently a 68 overall at 19 years old. He has potential and that's the big thing. And when it comes to us building a dynasty, we're going to need a lot of players with potential. You would have to throw Logan O'Connor on waivers, so you don't want to do this deal. Okay, how about instead of Kurashev, I give you picks. Like, I can give you your 4th round pick back, and is that going to make the difference? You're going to be rejecting it. How about multiple 4th rounders? Or I can just give you a 7th round pick for 2028. Is that going to make the difference in this deal? Connor Ollie, can we bring you to the team? They're going to be rejecting once again. How about a 4th round pick for 2028? So we're giving up 2 4th rounders and a 7th rounder as well. Is this going to be enough to get Connor Ollie? You still have to put Logan O'Connor on waivers. Do you really value Logan O'Connor that much? Like, how about you do this instead? You give me Ryan Suter. Then you won't have to put Logan O'Connor on waivers. Can we get this deal done now? They're going to be rejecting it. They want a little bit more. I'll turn one of those 4th rounders into a 3rd. So the 2028 4th round pick is now going to be a 2028 3rd round pick. Connor Ollie, welcome to the team. You still have to put Logan O'Connor on waivers. Okay, give me another player you do not value whatsoever that's in the NHL. Like, just give me some players that have absolutely no trade value whatsoever. Dodonov. I'll take on Dodonov. Just give me Connor Ollie. This shouldn't be that difficult. We're doing multiple 3rd round picks. I don't even think we have multiple 3rd rounders. I guess we do have multiple 3rd round picks. So Evander Kane, Scott Perunovich, a 7th round pick, and 2 3rd round picks for Connor Ollie. I really hope he develops and turns into something. If not, that was a big waste of time, and that was a lot of assets traded away for nothing. Also, I suppose we can see if we can get anything for Ryan Suter. I highly doubt it. We're going to be able to get a 7th round pick from Carolina. Okay, that might be the move. A 7th round pick could actually be a decent enough pickup. We'll take one from the Washington Capitals. So Ryan Suter, you're off to the Washington Capitals. And then Dodonov, I'll actually hold on to you because we need somebody for the bottom 6. I mean, truthfully, we need somebody for the 3rd pairing defense too, but yeah, Ryan Suter, thank you for like the 3 seconds you were on this team. Okay, what kind of Mickey Mouse file are we working with? The San Jose Sharks are winning the Stanley Cup in year number 2. The Chicago Blackhawks are winning in year number 1. What on earth is happening right now? How are all of these teams all of a sudden just dominating? The league has been completely flipped upside down. The bad teams are seeing success. The good teams aren't seeing any success. The Toronto Maple Leafs, of course, are first in their division and probably lost in the first round. That's neither here nor there nor anywhere. The Fort Wayne Outlaws, a 19-60-3 record. We scored 2.32 goals per game and allowed 5.11. So obviously we weren't good at anything. Jane Schwartz, you had 60 points this season. Bobby McMahon, you had 59 points. You're up to an 85 overall. You're going to be a great trade asset. I'm probably trading you next season. Kurashev, you're an 83 overall. Cool. I don't really care too much about that. When it comes to goaltending, Eric Comrie was an absolute dog. He still has 4 shutouts, so he didn't pick up one after the trade deadline. But at the end of the day, 4 shutouts for this man makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The San Jose Sharks are Stanley Cup champions. They're taking down the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Chicago Blackhawks aren't even going to make the playoffs this season. Yeah, the league's turning upside down. Like the Buffalo Sabres as a wildcard team are taking down the number 1 seeded Washington Capitals. What kind of universe are we in? I'll know if this is a corrupt save file or not if we get the 1st overall pick once again. If we somehow get Landon DuPont, then we know it's a corrupt save file, but that's not going to be the case. The LA Kings are jumping from 9 to 1. We're only dropping from 1 to 2 though, so maybe we can trade up for the 1st overall pick. It might be possible. Best case Ontario is there's going to be 2 franchise potential players available. We trade up, get the 1st overall pick, trade that franchise potential player away, get a ton of assets in the 2nd overall pick, and then with the 2nd overall pick, we draft draft another franchise potential player. I know how things work around here. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to cheat too much. There's only going to be one franchise potential player, and that's going to be Landon Dupont. I'm still going to offer them a trade for the first overall pick, though. Like, I don't know what it would cost in order to get the first overall, but I'll give you the second overall pick and then maybe Warren Fogle. So is this going to be enough to somehow jump up to the first overall pick? They're going to be rejecting it. I'll give you somebody else as well. Do you want Nico Mikkola? I'll give you Nico Mikkola as well. Like, if I have to trade Warren Fogle and Nico Mikkola as well as the second overall pick to get a franchise potential player in Landon Dupont, I think it's going to be worth it. But yeah, there's just no way we're going to get this deal done. So we're just going to pray for an absolute miracle, and for some reason they pass up on Landon Dupont, but that's not going to be the case. He's going first overall. He's a 74 overall. I guess that means we can go with this defenseman right here. He's projected second overall. We don't really need another left wing sniper, so I'm going to pass up on Robin. Ola Zetterberg, welcome to the team. You're going to be a great defenseman for us. Starting off as an 81 overall, you're going to play first pairing minutes next season. Now, I wasn't really expecting to get too many great prospects outside of our second overall pick, but we're going to get ourselves a lowly potential player with the 100th overall pick. He's starting off as a 61 overall, so expectations are incredibly high for him. Also, with that 4th round pick that we got from the Colorado Avalanche, we're going to take a flyer on this guy right here. Is he going to have lowly potential? It doesn't look like it, but low top 4, I can work with that. Now, moving into year number 3, it's time to start being competitive. So Heiskanen, I'm bringing you to the team. It's time for you to get your entry-level contract. Zetterberg, I'm giving you your entry-level contract as well. You're going to play top pairing minutes for me. It's time for this team to start winning some games. We've done enough losing. It's time to start winning. Jane Schwartz, I'm not bringing you back to the team, and if I'm being honest, I'm actually not going to bring any of these guys back to the team. Alright, so we got to make some moves here. If we really want to be competing in season number 3, we got to improve the team a ton. So Warren Fogle, I'm going to trade you over to the Anaheim Ducks. Yes, you're one of our better players, so it doesn't make sense to trade you. Absolutely not. However, Zellweger and Zetterberg could be a really good number 1 pairing. 2 young guys that can grow together. They can both get up to 90 overalls, and they can be the future of this team. However, in order to get this deal done, of course, we're going to have to throw a little bit more into the deal, so I'll throw in a 4th rounder. I think that's going to be enough for Zellweger, and it looks like it will be. So our top pairing is officially set. Now we just have to build the rest of the team. However, things might not be as easy as I was thinking they would be, because 1, we don't have a lot of trade assets that we can work with, and when it comes to free agency, I can't just be throwing bags at absolutely everybody. So we're going to have to make very strategic signings. One of those signings, of course, will be Philip Deneau. So I sat down with Philip Deneau, had a quick conversation. We're going to give him 4.1 for 1 season. We're giving him a no trade clause. I promise that he's going to be a top 6 player for us. So he's either playing on the first line or the second line. I don't really care which of the 2 lines you play on, as long as you join the team. Now, I think we're likely just going to be signing a lot of 1-year deals. I haven't seen a lot of players that I would want to bring in for multiple years. Like, if I'm bringing you in for multiple years, we gotta be doing like $2 million, $3 million max. And right now, everyone's looking for about $18 million. Like, Nick Wall wants $8 million, Zaka wants $8 million, Siplikov wants $8 million, Brandon Carlo, I actually wouldn't be against bringing you to the team. So maybe we bring in Brandon Carlo. I'll do 6.1 for the next 3 years. Hopefully he's accepting immediately. He's not going to because he has no organizational interest. That's perfectly fine. If we can't walk away with Brandon Carlo, it definitely will hurt, but we will survive. Vladimir Tarasenko, you have a lot of organizational interest right now, and you have a lot of contract interest. So 4.5 for 1 season, you're likely going to play top line minutes. That's actually a lie. Heiskanen's going to be playing top line minutes, but maybe you can play alongside him. Taylor Radish, I'll bring you to the team. We'll do 3.9 for the next 2 seasons. He's accepting immediately. We do need a goaltender, and Monteboldt, I actually am not against that. I'd be very interested in bringing him to the team, and I think that's the guy we're going to go after. Monteboldt is going to be possible for us to bring into the team. I'll do $7.6 million for the next 5 years. He's not going to be accepting immediately, but I didn't really expect him to. The more I think about it, I think this is going to be another year where we're actually not that good. Like, I shouldn't expect us to be making the playoffs quite yet. At the end of the day, our team is not there yet. Charlie Coyle, I can bring you in for $2.8 million for the next 2 years. You can play some bottom 6 minutes. Andre Burakovsky, I'd love to bring you in, but you have no organizational interest, so we're not going to worry about you quite yet. Nito Niederreiter, you can play some bottom 6 minutes at $2.8 million. Nick Robertson, you're one of the young players in the league, so how about we do a 2-year deal, do $3 million for the next 2, and hopefully you see some crazy progression this season. Chatfield, I think this is an amazing deal. We'll do 2.9 for 3 years. I need you to play some cheap third pairing minutes, and that's what you're going to do for me. Mason Appleton, you're a stick on the ice legend, so it only makes sense if I bring you to the team. $2 million for the next 3 years. Mason Appleton's always one guy you can rely on. You know who else you can rely on? Pontus Holmberg, another stick on the ice legend, 1.7 for the next 2. I just want to point out, I negotiated with Philip Deneau, and he still said no. So yeah, I'm never negotiating again. Sam Monteboldt, I didn't negotiate with you, and we're going to be walking away. We're losing Brandon Carlo. That's an absolute heartbreaker. No, we lost one of the greats. Now, you know what? Maybe missing out on Philip Deneau isn't the end of the world. Ryan O'Reilly, I'll try to bring you to the team. We'll do 4.9 for the next 2 years. I guess I'll see if you're interested in that contract. Brendan Dillon, I'd love to bring you to the team as well because we need a couple more defensemen. Here's $6 million for 1 season. And then Nick Perbix, I can bring you in for 2 seasons. Here's $3.1 million. We also could use a backup goaltender. I think we'll just go with Anton Forsberg. He's looking to sign a cheap 2-year deal. So there we go. Anton Forsberg, welcome to the team. I think we've signed everyone we can. We are not going to be good this season. As much as I want to be good, we won't be. Okay, a question has to be brought up when looking at this team. Why on earth did I ever think we'd be competitive this season? Like, this team is not looking good whatsoever. Yes, we don't have any 0 overalls, and that is a positive sign, but why on earth did I ever think that this team would be competitive? We are a long ways away from being competitive. It's going to be another tough season for the team. However, if we're going to be bad, make sure you're so bad that we get the first overall pick and get a franchise potential player. Like, the last thing you want to be is a bad team that just misses the playoffs by 2 points. If you're going to be bad and you're going to miss the playoffs, you might as well be bad enough that you're going to get the first overall pick and not bad enough where you're only going to be getting the 17th overall. Now, remember how I said if you're going to be a bad team, make sure that you're so incredibly bad that you get the first overall pick? Well, these guys decide to do the opposite. Instead of being extremely bad, we're just going to be extremely good. We're 4th in the entire league, which is a wild card spot, by the way. Yeah, 4th in the entire league is a wild card. 6th in the entire league is also a wild card spot. The Atlantic Division has 5 teams in the top 6 right now. Does this make any sense? Absolutely not. And do our stats make any sense? Not really. A 38, 21, and 7 record right now. 3.47 goals per game isn't crazy by any means. We're allowing 3.18, which is very bad. So we don't have a good defense. We don't have a superstar offense. We're 4th in the entire league in a wildcard spot. This season makes no sense. Vladimir Tarasenko has 69 points. Bobby McMahon 65 points. Nick Robertson has 57 right now. Hannu Heiskanen's not doing too much. Granted, I'll take 42 points in your rookie season. You're up to an 85 overall. Zetterberg, what are you up to? Obviously, you're not going to be a big point guy for us, but you have 8 goals and 16 assists for 24 points. You're an 86 overall. Maybe the team is on to something. Maybe our team is actually good. It does help that Anton Forsberg currently has an 11-3-1 record, but maybe this team is actually way better than I thought we were. So maybe instead of selling at the trade deadline, we do a little bit of buying. And is that buying going to involve picking up Severson? Absolutely not. We're not doing that trade. Like, that trade just makes no sense for us. Also, hold on, wait a minute. Connor Ollie is up to an 82 overall. That was some wild progression. Bro was like a 70 overall at the beginning of the season. Now, you're not going to be joining the team this season, but you certainly will next season. I don't know why you've progressed as much as you have, but what an absolute fleece that was from the Colorado Avalanche. We gave up quite a bit to get this guy, and he's developing. Now, if I'm being completely honest, we are not trading draft picks away. We are not going to be giving up good picks in order to win a Stanley Cup this season. I think this is a fluky season. I think this season's a little bit of a fluke right now. I don't want to be giving up absolutely everything in order to compete this season, so we're just going to stick with the team we have. I guess we can hand out some extensions considering we're looking so good right now. But yeah, we're really 4th in the entire league and in a wildcard spot. That is crazy work. Now, when it comes to extensions, it's Vladimir Tarasenko, it's going to be Zellweger. Brendan Dillon, you're leaving the team. Jordan Eberle, you're going to leave the team. A lot of these guys are actually going to be leaving the team. I guess Connor Ollie could actually jump into the lineup this season, but I don't want to burn a year on his contract. Tarasenko, we're not going to bring you back. You're 36 years old. However, Zellweger, I'll definitely bring you back, and this isn't a terrible price. We'll do 7.4 for the next 3 seasons to keep you around. We have lots of cap space, so we don't have to worry too much about that signing, and then with everyone else, they're just going to be walking. Now, I had a slight feeling that this could possibly happen, and that is exactly what happened. The Fort Wayne Outlaws, 8th in the entire league, a 45, 29, and 8 record. Things are looking amazing. We missed the playoffs. We were 8th in the entire league and missed the playoffs because the Red Wings were a wild card team. The Florida Panthers were a wild card team. And then the top 3 in the Atlantic Division were the Buffalo Sabres, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Tampa Bay Lightning. We missed the playoffs while being 8th in the entire league. You can't make stuff like that up. Bobby McMahon picked up 82 points and is now an 88 overall. He's going to have a lot of trade value that we're going to utilize. Vladimir Tarasenko had 81 points. I actually kind of wish I gave him an extension, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. We can still do so. Nick Robertson, 70 points. He's an 86 overall. We'll probably trade him next season because his trade value is going to be pretty high. When it comes to the young guys such as Heiskanen, I'll take 50 goals this season. 17 goals, 33 helpers. Zetterberg's looking amazing. Connor Ollie's going to be jumping into the lineup next season. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are about to take over the NHL. You got to trust me on that. 32 wins, 2 shots, a 900 save percentage, and a 316 from Montebold. That's perfectly fine because I'm going to give you a better team next season. Next season, the Outlaws are taking over. We're definitely going to make the playoffs. We're going to be top 5 in the entire league. I don't think there's going to be anyone that's going to be able to stop us. The only thing that sucks is we're going to be getting the 17th overall pick because obviously we're not going to be moving up in the draft. We finished 8th in the entire league and we're in the lottery. That is crazy work. Now, when I drafted this prospect, I was hoping he was going to have medium league potential. Clearly, that's not what happened. However, he's a 68 overall with medium top 6 potential, and he's only 17 years old right now. So we're going to give this guy a chance to develop, and then once he develops, he'll jump to the top 6 for us. That guy is certainly going to turn into a star. We just have to allow him to develop. But the question is he going to develop quicker than Simon right here? Because he's a 63 overall with low elite potential. However, he is 18 years old. So I guess that is one thing that goes against Simon compared to our first round pick. He is a year older. Now, it looks like we're not done with the elite potential prospects. We're now going to be drafting another low elite potential one. However, he's only a 51 overall. His numbers aren't looking as good as the guy we drafted in the second round, but there's still a chance he develops. So Connor Ollie, you're going to be joining the team immediately. You're up to an 82 overall. You're going to play some good second pairing minutes for me this season. I think we're going to let a majority of these guys walk. I don't really want to let Tarasenko walk. He was really good last season, so maybe we can bring him back. How about we do $7 million for the next 2? $7 million for the Tarasenko show. He was absolutely lighting the lamp last season. We might as well bring him back for another. Jordan Eberle, Brendan Dillon, Nito Niederreiter, all of you guys can walk. We can find replacements. So after not doing much during the re-sign phase, these are where the interesting moves are going to happen. Bobby McMann and Nick Robertson. I don't think either of you guys are going to come back to the team because your trade values are probably very high, and I think we should capitalize on those. So if I traded Nico Mikla and Bobby McMann together, I think we could get something pretty good. All right, I am cooking something up, and this is some cooking that I don't do very often. Bobby McMann for David Jiricek, a 3rd rounder and a 4th rounder. Now, those 2 picks are very important. Now, they're going to be rejecting that deal. I'll throw in a 7th round pick, and we'll be able to get this deal done. We're not done with the Minnesota Wild. All right, now I had this big brain plan with the Minnesota Wild that has not turned out the way I expected. Nick Perbix and Taylor Radish, I'm going to send both you guys over to the Islanders. We're looking to get Kim. He has medium league potential. We are then going to flip him with a couple other players back to the Minnesota Wild because there is a player that I want to get from the Wild. He is a player that would help us a ton. Can we get this deal done? Perfect. Now I am hoping the Minnesota Wild are going to be willing to accept this deal because I'm going to give you a lot. I am going to give you Kim. I'm going to give you Nick Robertson. I'm going to give you Nico Mikla. What do I want back in exchange? Matt Boldy. I want you to give me Matt Boldy for this package right here. They're still rejecting it. I have thrown quite a bit at you guys. We actually might not be doing this deal because I don't really know how much more I can throw at the Minnesota Wild for Matt Boldy. I guess I could throw 2 third-round picks in the deal because that's what's going to get it done. So we got David Jiricek and we got Matt Boldy. We got the players that I really wanted. So with those trades, we brought in key guys for the future. Our defense is basically set now. We're just going to have to give these guys extensions eventually. However, we don't have to give them extensions right now. So what are we going to do? We're going to go sign a superstar centerman. We need to pray that there's going to be an elite centerman available in free agency. Austin Matthews is available. Unfortunately, that's not really the guy I want because I didn't really want a goal scorer. Dylan Strome's not terrible. He is 31 years old though, but he's only looking for a 4-year deal. Dylan Strome is definitely intriguing. So I've talked with Dylan Strome real quick, and this is what we're looking at. $13.8 million for the next 4 years. He's getting a no movement. We need that superstar playmaker, and I believe he can be that guy. I'm really hoping that nobody outbids us because we really need Dylan Strome. Now, I guess before we do anything else, Bischel, I do need you to play some third pairing minutes. So here's 1.9 for the next 2 seasons. He's going to be accepting immediately. The forward core is basically set. I just want to know what's happening with Dylan Strome. So we're going to go ahead and simulate a couple days, and I'm just praying that Dylan Strome's going to be accepting the contract. That is big for us. We have our playmaker for the next 4 years. Now let's go sign some other free agents. We just needed to make sure that we got him because now that we have Dylan Strome on the team, we can sign whoever we want. So Steven Stamkos, welcome to the team. Here's $4.7 million for 1 year. You're going to join the team. Claude Giroux, I'm going to throw you a bag as well. Here's $4.9 million for 1 season. You're going to be accepting immediately. Heineman, I'm actually looking at a 2-year deal with you. You're not really interested in 2 years, but how about we just do 3.3? I believe you could be a good bottom 6 piece for us. Ross Colton, I see the potential on the bottom 6 for you. So here's 2.2 for the next 2 seasons. And I think if we sign one goaltender, then we're going to be set here. And Merzlikins, I'm going to go with you. Actually, we don't need to sign a goaltender because I gave Anton Forsberg a 2-year deal. So yeah, we don't need to do that. Now, last season, I did not expect to make the playoffs. Then we finished 8th in the entire league and missed the playoffs because the wild card is stupid, but that's neither here nor there. The team is looking better this season. We have improvements across the board. We're just in a way better position. The forward core is in a better position. The defensive core is in a better position. Goaltending's in a better position. Maybe I shouldn't say that though, because Anton Forsberg has dropped to a 77 overall, but we're not going to question it. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are looking to bounce back from what happened last season. They're looking to get back. And I think with this forward core right here, they're going to be able to do that. If I'm being honest, I also wouldn't be overly surprised if we finished bottom 10 in the league, but that's not going to happen. We're top 5, and that's an absolute fact. Now, I have some bad news. We're currently in season number 4. We have to basically play 800 hockey to finish out the season. We need to be a top 10 team at the very minimum just to be in the wild card. The Atlantic Division is once again absolutely dominating. The Toronto Maple Leafs are also ahead of us with a 36-25-5 record. I don't think there's a chance we make the playoffs this season. I'm going to keep it a stack. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are not making the playoffs. A 33-23-9 record is great. We're scoring 3 goals per game. That should be better. We're allowing way too many goals. Like, we are allowing more goals than we're scoring. Let's accept the fact that we're not making the playoffs here. Let's just embrace the fact that we are not making the playoffs this season. And with us embracing that, let's make some trades accordingly. As much as I want to be winning Stanley Cups here, and truthfully we should be winning Stanley Cups, we've just somehow ended up in the most competitive division of all time, and I was not expecting that. I was not expecting our division to be this competitive. So let's just take a quick look at a couple players on our team. Vladimir Tarasenko, I'm going to be looking at you. I don't know what your trade value is going to be, but it's not nearly as high as I thought it would be. Claude Giroux, I mean, we could probably work with that. Tarasenko, we might be able to work with that. Like, if I retain half of your guys' contracts, what could we do? I mean, Tarasenko, we basically have to hold on to. Like, he's under contract for this season and next season. Stamkos and Claude Giroux, we could trade you guys away, and we might try to do that. And just hold on, wait a minute. Is this the move? Claude Giroux for Seneca. I think this is the play. We're going to trade Claude Giroux for Seneca. Actually, I lied. Claude Giroux, I'm going to trade you elsewhere. Who is interested in Claude Giroux? The Carolina Hurricanes are. How about you give me some draft picks back? Give me a 3rd rounder, a 4th rounder, and then another 4th round pick. I think this is a pretty fair deal. I'll send this over to Carolina. They're going to be rejecting. I'll take one of the 4th rounders out. We're getting a 3rd and 4th. Perfect. Now we're going to circle back to the Anaheim Ducks. I'm going to give you Steven Stamkos and those draft picks. Or do you want Ross Colton in those draft picks? I guess I could give you Ross Colton in those picks. I'll give you Ross Colton in a 3rd round pick, and then you give me Seneca, a good young player that can jump into the top 6 for us. I'm going to give him the perfect opportunity to develop on our team. Yeah, we fleeced the Ducks. Now, Seneca, I'm throwing a bag at you. We're probably going to be looking at around $6 million, but it's going to be worth it. Here is $6.2 million for the next 8 seasons. I'm giving you a massive deal. I think you've earned it. I mean, technically you haven't earned it. You haven't played any games with our team, but I'm going to buy into the hype early with you. We're going to give you an opportunity in the top 6, and you're definitely going to live up to that contract. Now, of course, I was never worried. I always believed in the Outlaws, and I knew this would happen. 12th in the entire league, a 44-28-10 record. We're in the postseason. Seneca was the difference maker. We got rid of Claude Giroux. Seneca joined the team. He completely turned things around here, and the boys are dominating. I'm actually very curious to see what Seneca did since joining the team. Like, was he actually a difference maker, or am I just completely yapping? Seneca, what are your numbers? You had 8 assists for 8 points. Yeah, I'm yapping. You didn't really help us too much, but you know what? We did make it into the postseason. Montebolt carried the way, 37 wins, 1 shutout, a 910-288. Hopefully you're ready for a deep postseason run, because that's what we have ahead of us. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. Let's make a statement in our first postseason appearance. Like, I'm not just looking for this team to win 1 game, 2 games, or maybe even 3 games in the postseason. I want to sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning. We might get swept. I thought we weren't going to see a single victory in our first postseason run, but we're going to win game number 4. The question is, can we win game number 5? Can we win back-to-back games? Yes, we can. Can we win 3 in a row? We have a little bit of momentum right now, and we are building on that momentum. We're jumping into game 7. We were down 3-0 in the series, but now the Fort Wayne Outlaws are winning games, and we're in game 7, the most important game. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, we're taking over. We have a 2-goal lead entering the third, and we're going to hold on to that lead. We were down 3-0 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we're making that comeback. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are 1-0 so far in the postseason. They have never lost a postseason series, and they're not looking to lose against the Boston Bruins. They're looking to build on that momentum. We've won 4 games in a row. We're not going to make it 5. We're going to drop game number 1. We're responding in game 2, and we're responding in game 4. We split the series with the Boston Bruins. Game 5 is going to be the most important game. Can we steal it away? Yes, we can. Let's close out in game 6 and make it to the conference finals. That's not going to happen. We need game 7 once again. I do want to point out we're undefeated in game 7 so far in our franchise's history. We have never lost a game 7 before. We're trailing after the first period. Now we're trailing even more entering the third period. We're not making the comeback in this one. We're going to be dropping it 5-3. We're losing in game 7 of the second round. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take a game 7 loss in the second round with this team, considering I didn't even expect us to make the postseason. We made a 3-0 series comeback in round number 1. We're continuing to take steps in the right direction. Alright, so before we even look at postseason scoring, the Philadelphia Flyers won the Stanley Cup. Let's look at our Stanley Cup champs through the first 4 years of this video. In year number 1, it was the Chicago Blackhawks. In year 2, the San Jose Sharks. In year 3, the Toronto Maple Leafs. In year 4, the Philadelphia Flyers. What on earth is going on right now? How on earth are these teams the ones winning Stanley Cups? It doesn't make any sense. Dylan Strome dominated. Matt Boldy was amazing. Steven Stamkos was pretty solid as well. Heiskanen, I was expecting a little more from you, I can't lie. 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. I'm going to need you to be better than that. If you want to be one of the top players on this team, I'm going to need you to show up when the lights are the brightest, and you didn't do that for me. Meanwhile, Montebold, 7 wins, a 910 to 299. We were down 3-0 in the first round. We ended up making that comeback. We lost in the second round. I can't complain too much about your numbers. Like, at one point we were down 3-0 in the series, and then you led us to 4 straight wins. I gotta put a bit of respect on your name. Without you, we're definitely not doing that. Also, I just want to point this out. The New Jersey Devils got the 12th overall pick this season. We own their first round pick for next season, so that could be very interesting. Okay, now I'm fully convinced in NHL 26 there is way more low elite potential players than normal, because I'm going to be drafting one here in the second round. I have drafted so many low elite potential players so far in NHL 26, is a little bit ridiculous. Like, I think I've drafted more low elite potential players in NHL 26 than I did in the entirety of NHL 25. So once again, during the re-sign phase, we're not going to do anything. We're going to let all of these guys walk. When it comes to goaltenders, Forsberg's going to walk. We're just going to sign rookies. Now, you know what? I'm tired of losing in the postseason. We've only lost once in the playoffs, but I'm tired of it. Matt Boldy, we're bringing you back to the team. We're doing $11 million for the next 8 years. That's $4 million more than what you're getting paid right now, but that's perfectly fine. Heiskanen, you're looking for $9.8 million. That's cool. We can make this happen. We'll do 9.5 for the next 4. You're going to be sticking around. He's accepting immediately. And then Zetterberg, you're going to be our top defenseman. I want to keep you around. And this is going to be an amazing price. $7.3 million for the next 4. We have all the superstars locked down. Now, with that being said, we're still going to have a ton of money to work with. Like, we're going to have, give or take, $34 million in cap space for next season. So you know what that means? Let's throw a bag at a free agent. I don't care who the free agent is. We got to bring somebody in. So who's going to be available when it comes to some of the top players? We could bring Crosby in for 1 season, and that is interesting. We're going to throw a bag at Crosby, I think. We're not going to do quite the max, but I'll do $9.2 million for 1 season. Sidney Crosby, welcome to the Fort Wayne Outlaws. You're going to be a game changer for us. Will Cooley, I would love to bring you to the team as well. How about we do 4.8 for the next 2 seasons? I know you don't really have that much organizational interest, but that's fine. I'm still going to offer you that contract anyway. Protus, I know you're only looking for a 2-year deal, but here's 9.3 for the next 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, we'll renegotiate another deal, and I can probably get that down to $7 million. And then we'll finish it all off with Shane Pinto. Here's 4.9 for 1 season. I think we might almost be ready to roll. What we do have to do is find out whether or not Will Cooley or Protus is going to be joining the team. I'd like to walk away with both players. Matt Boldy's accepting his extension. Will Cooley's going to go to Chicago. Protus is also going to go to Chicago. No, we really lost out to the ops. But you know what? Maybe that was for the best. Chinakhov, here's $5.4 million for the next 4 years. You're going to be accepting immediately. I think you're going to hold the top 6 role for us. And then Podkolzin, you're an 85 overall, but you're only looking for $3 million. How about we do 3.4 for the next 2 seasons? I hope you accept that, because I think you can be a great player for us. All right, never mind. He's going to Dallas. I literally simulated 1 day and bro's already leaving. All right, let's just keep on throwing bags out. Landeskog, here's $8 million for 1 season. I hope that's enough for you to join the team. Mark Stone, I'm going to throw a bag at you as well. I don't want to do a 2-year deal, so we're only going to do 1 season. I'll do $8 million for 1 season. I feel like that should be enough to get you to join the team. Then again, that contract interest early isn't that high. Here's $8 million for 1 season. I doubt you're going to accept it, but I'll still offer it. We could use a backup goaltender, and John Gibson wouldn't be terrible, but I saw my man Jack Hughes. We're going with Jack Hughes. Here's 2.5 for 2 seasons. I don't care if that's a lot to be the backup. It's Jack Hughes we're talking about. Now, we haven't traded for enough superstars yet, so let's start doing that. 2 second-rounders sent over to the Vancouver Canucks. Zetterberg, welcome to the team. I'm actually very surprised it was that easy. Now, I don't think it's much of a shock that Mark Stone's going to be rejecting the offer we sent him, but Gabriel Landeskog is going to join the team, so we are going to be walking away with one player that we actually wanted. Alright, so no more second round exits, no more missing the playoffs. The Fort Wayne Outlaws have figured it out. We have an amazing forward core we're building around. The bottom 6 is looking solid as well. The defense is great. Zellweger, Zetterberg, David Jiricek, Connor Ollie. These are guys we could shape a franchise around. And then when it comes to goaltending, Montalban's the starter, Jack Hughes is the backup. Nothing's going to hold us back this season. I don't care how good the Atlantic Division is going to be, we're going to be at the top. Now, the Fort Wayne Outlaws are looking pretty solid right now. 7th in the entire league, a 38-25-1 record. We have a pretty solid offense, 3.41 goals per game, but I believe we have one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah, we have the 3rd best defense right now. Everything's looking pretty solid for Fort Wayne. I think they're going to have a strong finish to the season. We're probably going to be looking at a top 5 team. Dylan Strome, Matt Boldy, Heiskanen, y'all are holding it down the top line. However, Sidney Crosby, Zetterberg, and Landeskog, I need you guys to be a bit better. I don't know if it's just age catching up to these guys, and it very well could be. Like, Crosby's 42 years old. He's only 86 overall. He's clearly not the player he used to be. Landeskog's 37. He's an 86 overall. So maybe to finish out the season, Landeskog finishes on the 3rd line and Seneca moves up to the 2nd line. Maybe that will shake things up a little bit. We'll see a bit more success. Montalban, 30 wins, 3 shots, a 903 and a 292. I would be a little bit concerned with these numbers, but considering we have the 3rd best defense in the entire league, I'm not really going to be too concerned. Now, making a trade here probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Like, we're competing for a Stanley Cup right now. We got to upgrade the team a little bit. So I think this is the move we're going to make to finish out the season. Shane Pinto and 2 4th-round picks sent over to the Colorado Avalanche. Gavin Brindley and Jake Neighbors are both going to be brought to the team. We might even be able to re-sign these guys, but I think for the playoff push, they're going to be 2 great additions. So Jake Neighbors, Gavin Brindley, where are you looking at when it comes to extensions? $6 million for Jake Neighbors is a little bit much, so we're likely just going to let him walk. When it comes to Gavin Brindley, what can we do? $4.7 million. I don't hate it. So Gavin Brindley, maybe you can come back to the team. Granted, you're likely going to be playing bottom 6 minutes, and at $4.5 million, I feel like that's a little bit much. So maybe we're going to actually let you walk. If we're going to be re-signing anyone, it's probably just going to be Bischel. I'll do 2.2 for the next 3 seasons. When it comes to everyone else, they're kind of looking for too much money based on what their role is. All right, now this season was actually a little bit stupid. So the Fort Wayne Outlaws, 6th in the entire league, a 49-32-1 record. We almost had 50 wins this season, and we're a wild card team. Montreal, Buffalo, and Tampa are all ahead of us. The Florida Panthers are going to be 8th in the entire league, and they're going to be in a wild card spot. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who are 10th in the entire league, they're going to miss the postseason. The Atlantic Division is something else right now. I don't know why it's so competitive, but it is. Dylan Strome, 89 points. Matt Boldy, 88. Heiskanen's picking up 79. Zetterberg's having a pretty solid season. 32 goals, 39 assists, 71 points. I'll certainly take that. Crosby was only +1. Not really a big fan of that. Jake Neighbors, what'd you do since I brought you to the team? Granted, you are playing 3rd line minutes, but I'll take 8 points in 18 games. You're holding up your end of the bargain. And then when it comes to goaltending, yeah, Montalban's numbers went down after the trade deadline. Not a great sign for what's to come. But you know what? The Outlaws always show up in the postseason. They're going to put pressure on every team that they face. So I don't care for a wildcard team. Philly better watch out. Granted, we do have to remember that the Philadelphia Flyers are the reigning Stanley Cup champions, so they're going to be a tough matchup. But we're stealing the first 2 games thanks to elite defense. The first 3 games because of elite defense. As long as we keep allowing 1 goal, we're going to keep on winning games. We have a 3-1 series lead, and here comes the collapse. We've lost 2 games in a row. It better not be 3 games in a row. What are we doing? We dominated the first 3 games. Now we're in Game 7. Last season, we made a 3-0 series comeback. This season, we're blowing a 3-0 series lead. Life comes at you fast. We have a 1-goal lead entering the 3rd period. We better not choke this one away. We're going to double down. We're going to be winning this one 5-1. In the games where we only allow 1 goal, we win all of them. So just keep doing that. Like right now, Montalban is putting on an absolute masterclass. Like besides game number 4, this man has been absolutely locked in. I mean, game number 6 wasn't ideal. He allowed 4 goals. So outside of game number 4 and game number 6, this man has been unstoppable, and I need that to continue into the 2nd round. We're dropping game number 1. We're dropping game 2. Are we getting swept? Yes, we are. Okay. Life comes at you fast. Nah, like ain't no way. This man won 4 games in the 1st round, allowing only 4 goals in those 4 wins, and then that happened. That is crazy work. Now, I'm very interested to see what Montalbo's numbers were. The Colorado Avalanche are going to beat the Buffalo Sabres in the Stanley Cup final. If Buffalo won the Stanley Cup, then we would have to have a discussion about this save file being absolutely broken with the questionable teams winning cups. Matt Boldy, 12 points, Strome, 11 points, Crosby, 10 points. We got to work on the second line. We have to figure out who exactly we want playing on the second line. I like Lecker-Mackey on our second line. I don't really know how I feel about Seneca right now. I know we did just give him an absolute bag though. He is an 85 overall. I feel like he can play the role. We just have to give him an opportunity. Like, he didn't get an opportunity on the top 6 this season. We'll give him one next season. Meanwhile, Monty, 4 wins, 4 losses, 3 OT losses, a 917 to 255. I don't know how to feel about your numbers. Like, in the games we won, you absolutely dominated. Then there was every other game. Also, I feel like it's important to note that the New Jersey Devils didn't have a lottery pick, so it's not like that first rounder that we acquired how many years ago was going to turn into anything. Alright, I have a really good plan here, and y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but it makes a lot of sense. The first thing we have to do is get Victor Eklund. They're going to be rejecting this trade. That's perfectly fine. I'll throw the 30th overall pick in this deal as well. So we're going to trade our 2 first-round picks for Victor Eklund. They're still saying no. Okay, I kind of didn't expect that, but that's fine. Based on trade value, I thought we were offering more than enough. I'll throw in this medium top 6 potential player. Now this should be enough for Victor Eklund. Now we're going to flip him to the New Jersey Devils. And who exactly are we going to walk away with from the New Jersey Devils? Well, we're going to trade for Jack Hughes. Now, how on earth am I getting Jack Hughes? Well, Jack Hughes is currently set to hit free agency, so I'm just trading for the rights to Jack Hughes. So Victor Eklund straight up for Jack Hughes. The Devils are going to be accepting. Now we're going to have to re-sign him. But re-signing Jack Hughes shouldn't be too difficult because we're going to have a lot of cap space to work with. Now, after trading our 2 first-round picks, we didn't get anything notable in the draft, but now it's time for the big-time move, which is bringing Jack Hughes back to the team. Now, I have no clue what Jack Hughes is going to be looking for. I'm just praying we can bring him back on a reasonable deal. Like, there is a very good chance he asked for $20 million, and I don't want to do that. I can work with $15 million. I don't want to do a full no movement. How about we do no movement plus a modified no trade, and then we get this down to like $14 million. Is that going to be possible with Jack Hughes? We'll do 14.6 for the next 8 seasons. I'll offer that contract over. We're simulating a day, and it looks like Jack Hughes is going to be accepting. That's going to leave us with $10 million to work with, and $10 million is going to be more than enough. Jake Neighbors, you're likely going to be leaving the team. You want $7.7 million. You're gone. Chatfield's gone. Crosby's gone. Landeskog's gone. Gavin Brindley, maybe we can do $3 million now. You're not interested in that, so I'll qualify you as an RFA and we'll trade you away. Heineman, how much are you looking for? You want $3.2 million. I think it's a little bit much, but you know what? I'm willing to do so. Here's 3.1 for the next 2 years. I feel like that's a little bit much for a bottom 6 guy, but you know what? We're still doing it. And then after giving you that contract, we're just going to sign some rookies. Now, the top 6 is basically set, so we just need to bring in a couple guys for the bottom 6. Joe Veleno is going to be one of them, 1.5 for 2 seasons. I'm also going to bring in a guy like Braden Yager. He'll be a great addition to the club, 1.9 for 1 season. We could use a right defenseman on the team, and I'll never turn down an 80 overall for $800K, so that's an absolute no-brainer. And I think the final player we're bringing in is going to be Pospisil, $1.2 million for 1 season. You'll play some good 4th line minutes. Now, after signing those guys, there are extensions that have to be handed out, but I feel like those shouldn't be too difficult. Starting off with Zellweger, he's going to be looking for a bag. $12 million is a little bit crazy, so do I really want to give you that? I'm not sure. When it comes to Jiricek, he's looking for 8.6, and I would prefer a contract like that a lot more. So we're going to be locking down David Jiricek for $8.5 million for the next 6 seasons. Zellweger, there is the chance that you do walk. Like, Connor Ollie's willing to sign a deal for 5.5, so we'll bring him back to the team for the next 3. And then with the remaining money we have left, can we actually sign Zellweger? No, we can't. We're going to be a little bit short with him, so I think we're going to trade him away just so we can get something back. Also, Oduya, I'll bring you back for 2 years, $900K. That's a steal. So here's what I'm going to do with Zellweger. I'm going to ship him over to the Ottawa Senators. Yakimchuk, a prospect, and a 3rd round pick can be acquired. Unfortunately, we're not going to be walking away with all that. I'll take the 3rd round pick out of the deal. We are going to be in Yakimchuk and the prospect. Yakimchuk's locked down for the next couple years at $6 million. So his contract's going to be a lot more cap friendly. Now, I won't lie to you. The bottom 6 has certainly seen better days here. However, the top 6 is so elite, they're just going to outscore all of our problems. Even if the bottom 6 is a little weak, that's perfectly fine because we're going to be scoring 4 goals per game with our top 6. They are going to absolutely dominate, especially with the defensive pairings we have. Monty, I just need you to play somewhat good. You don't even have to be a superstar goaltender for us. Just keep the puck out of the net from time to time, and we're probably looking at a 55-win season. So at the trade deadline, the Fort Wayne Outlaws are 5th in the entire league with a 40-20-3 record. We have a 40-20-3 record, and that's only good enough for 5th in the entire league and 2nd in our division. We are second in the Atlantic Division. Even though we have a 40-20-3 record at the trade deadline, we cannot catch a break. The Outlaws cannot catch a break right now. Jack Hughes is looking spectacular. 86 points at the deadline. Matt Boldy's got 70. Dylan Strome 65. Heiskanen 59. Lekkerimäki's got 51. Seneca 41. And then there's the rest of the team. I think we need to improve the bottom six just a little bit. Our bottom six isn't quite good enough. Goaltending wise, Montebelle's looking amazing. 33 wins, 2 shots, a 924 and a 229. Now that I saw those numbers, do I really want to change anything? Like, Monty's numbers are absolutely spectacular. Robert Thomas is on the trade block right now. This just isn't right. But you know what? Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. I feel like we should get an upgrade to the bottom six. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking for the one deal at the deadline. Chinakhov, a second and third rounder, sent over to the Flames. We get Dawson Mercer for 1 season. He's an 85 overall. I just need to play some bottom 6 minutes for me. And then Luce Rain, 2.9 for the next 2 years. That's a great contract for the bottom 6. We just need 2 cheap players. We get rid of the Chinakhov contract. Dawson Mercer's not going to be coming back next season. Luce Rain definitely will be at $2.9 million. We'll probably just end up riding out his contract. I'll throw a 7th round pick in this deal and we'll get it done. So that's going to be a nice upgrade for the bottom 6, and we get to free up a little bit of cap space. Now, what can I say? We've put the Fort Wayne Outlaws in a position to see success. A 56-22-4 record to finish out the season, 3.68 goals per game, 2.46 allowed. As good as we look right now, I cannot ignore the Colorado Avalanche offense right now. 4.35 goals per game. This team is scoring goals like crazy, and if we're going to match up against them in the Stanley Cup final, that means their offense is completely rolling and there's no weaknesses. However, we shouldn't focus on that right now. Jack Hughes 111 points, Matt Boldy 96 points, Dylan Strome 86, Heiskanen's picking up 84. We should worry about making it to the second round, and then worry about making it to the conference finals, then worry about making it to the Stanley Cup final. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. We still have to make it out of the first round, then we have to make it out of the second, conference finals, and cup final. There's a lot of hockey to be played. Let's just take this one game at a time. Like, I shouldn't even be talking about the Colorado Avalanche being our biggest threat. The Buffalo Sabres right now are our biggest threat. We're winning game number 1, moving into game 2, we're dropping that one. We can't drop game number 3, and we don't have to worry about that. We have a 3-1 series lead against the Buffalo Sabres. Let's close it out in game number 5 and move on. I don't want to go to another game 7, but we have to go to another game 7. That is what the Outlaws are going to be known for, always ending up in game 7. Somehow this team will always end up in game 7. I have no clue why we always end up in game 7, but we will always end up in this position. Game 7 against the Buffalo Sabres. We're exchanging goals in the first period. We're getting dominated in the second. Matthew Tkachuk is now on the Buffalo Sabres. That is sick work. Why on earth is Matthew Tkachuk on the Buffalo Sabres, and why on earth are we losing? Well, things look good for a little bit. We're losing in the first round. We blew a 3-1 series lead. So I guess we don't have to worry about Colorado. We're not even getting past Buffalo. Ain't no way the Buffalo Sabres are Stanley Cup champions. Yeah, we're just moving on to next season. We're moving straight to the draft. I don't want to look at numbers. I don't want to see what this team did during the postseason, but maybe we have to embrace our faults. Maybe we have to embrace the terrible run that we just went on. We had a 3-1 series lead, and then we blew it, and they went on to win the Stanley Cup. That is sick work. Nah, there's really nothing I can say here. Let's move on to the draft. I'm heartbroken. Now, remember how I was talking about how I keep on getting lowly potential players in the draft? Well, we got ourselves another one. Earl's going to be joining the team, 54 overall, lowly potential. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. Now, we have $7.8 million to work with, and there's a handful of guys I would like to bring back to the team, but I don't think they're going to be costing too much. Starting off with Gavin Brindley, 3.5 is just a little bit too much, so I'll qualify you as an RFA once again. You actually accepted your qualifying offer last year, and that's why you played with the team. Dawson Mercer, you're going to be leaving. Dawes, I'll 100% bring you back to the team, but aren't you a grinder? I feel like you're a grinder. I might be completely wrong. Yeah, you're a grinder that I drafted in the 5th round. I will bring you back to the team, but I'm not happy about it. Here's 1.2 for the next 2 years. You can return. Pospisil, I think you're going to be walking. Jagger, I would love to bring you back to the team, but you want $3 million. That's not happening. And even for 1.9, that seems like a little bit much, so I actually might let you walk as well. You know what? I'll be a nice guy. Jagger, you can have 1.9 million just because you're a Moose Jaw Warrior legend. When it comes to everyone else, they're going to be walking unless they're accepting 2-way contracts. Now, not too much happened during the re-sign phase, but there are extensions that have to be given out. Dylan Strome, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. We're not bringing you back to the team. You're 34 years old. It doesn't make sense for us. Heineman, you're likely going to be walking as well. Jorgensen, we're going to bring you back. You're a good young player. Maybe not. I'm not giving you $6 million. That is wild. Also, Montebolt, I'm probably not going to bring you back. I have no clue why you're an 87 overall now, but we're going to ride with you for one more season. I need you to play some of the best hockey you've ever played. So I decided to take a quick look at free agency, and look who I found sitting available. Berkeley Catton, medium league potential. Yes, he's 25 years old and only an 81 overall, but that's still good enough to play bottom 6 minutes. So here's $2.9 million for 1 year. Also, we could use a defenseman for the third pairing. I'm just looking for somebody cheap, and Lilyberg, you're probably going to be that guy. We don't need a left defenseman, but if I can bring you in for the next 2 years at $1.6 million, I'll definitely do that. And then we'll still get a right defenseman after that. And who's that right defenseman going to be? Well, we're going to go with Victor Mancini. He's low-key starting to turn into a bit of a stick on the ice legend. I've signed this guy a handful of times in free agency so far in NHL 26. And then when it comes to moves for our forward core, Hoglander, this is an absolute no-brainer. $2.1 million for the next 2 seasons. That's going to be a great deal. All right, so we know what the job is. Win a Stanley Cup. We haven't been able to do that yet, but I think we're finally going to figure it out this season. Once again, we ride with the top 6. The top 6 is going to lead us to victory. The bottom 6 just needs to play the role. When it comes to the defense, the top 4 is looking amazing. The third pairing just has to play their role. We've been through this time and time again. We just need players to play their role here. And then when it comes to goaltending, Montebolt, I don't know if you're going to be the starter once the postseason comes around. Oduya's up to an 85 overall. He might be ready to take over. I think he's the guy for us in the future, and he actually might be the guy right now. Can I trade Montebolt away, or did I give him a no movement? I didn't give him a no movement. Do we trade him away and allow Oduya to take the reins sooner than later? I think we do that. Monty, I'm trading you away. So here's what I'm thinking. Montebolt, I'll send you over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Zetterberg will bring you in for the next 3 years. You're an 83 overall. You're just going to play your role. Bloomquist, you're going to be a good backup, and we're also going to get a 3rd round pick in the deal. I guess we could have gotten more. Pittsburgh thinks they're finessing us. Montebolt is like 36 right now, and he's on an expiring contract. So are we really getting fleeced? I don't think so. Yeah, so safe to say we're not making any trades. First in the entire league, a 53-11-5 record. It's the trade deadline. We have a 53-11-5 record at the trade deadline. We're not changing anything. We are running this team for the rest of the season. The boys are locked in. Everything about this team is amazing. We're not changing anything. Oduya, you're the GOAT. You're the next great goaltender in NHL history. You're going to lead this team to greatness. We're not changing anything. We have our team. Now, the Fort Wayne Outlaws are the best team in the entire league. A 63-14-5 record. We have the best offense and the best defense in the entire league. This team has looked elite from game 1 till game 82. But I don't care how elite this team looked during the regular season. The postseason is what matters. Jorgensen, maybe we actually do try to keep you on this team because you performed this season. 27 goals, 24 helpers, 51 points. You're looking elite. Goaltending was absolutely spectacular. Oduya's picking up 48 wins in his rookie season. If this guy doesn't take home the Calder, then it's absolutely rigged. We're taking on the Montreal Canadiens in the first round. We know what we have to do. Oduya, I need you to lead the way. I need you to be the superstar goaltender we've been looking for. We're winning game number 1 in overtime. Not really ideal considering we allowed 4 goals, but we've won 3 games in a row. Make that 4 games in a row. We're off to the second round. I don't care if your numbers don't look that great. We're moving on in a sweep. So we're advancing to the second round, and who are we going to be taking on next? The Tampa Bay Lightning. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of Atlantic Division teams. Probably even another Atlantic Division team in the conference finals because the Atlantic Division is still running the NHL right now. We have a 3-1 series lead on Tampa. Let's close out game number 5 and move on. Are we doing this? Are we really doing this again? We can't be doing this. Luckily, an Oduya shutout is going to steal us game number 6, and we're moving on, and it's another Atlantic Division team. This time, we're going to have the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I believe the Toronto Maple Leafs were a wild card team, but they can't stop us. A 3-1 series lead. We have to win one more game, and that's what we're doing. We're in the Stanley Cup final. We're 12-3 so far in the postseason. Everything about this team has been perfect up until this point, and there's only one more team in front of us. That's the Chicago Blackhawks. The Chicago Blackhawks are the only team that could potentially stop us, and we're not going to allow them to stop us. From top to bottom, this team's elite. Everyone's playing their role. We're looking absolutely spectacular. We dropped the first 2 games, but we're winning 2 straight after that. Game number 5 is the most important game of the series, and we're dropping it 2-1. Do not lose in the Cup final. Whatever you do not lose in the Stanley Cup final. This team looked incredible the entire year. We can't go out like this. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, we're trailing entering the third. We can't do this. We can't go out like this. We don't have to worry about it quite yet. We're picking up 2 late goals. Overtime is going to settle this one. Who is going to be the superstar ending this game? Nick Waugh. Nick Waugh is going to be the superstar to end this one. We're falling in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking for the Fort Wayne Outlaws. They have gone through some tough times, but they finally made it here. I don't know what to say. I'm just heartbroken. The boys just couldn't find a way to win those additional games. Matt Boldy, Heiskanen, Jack Hughes, Zetterberg, everyone was performing. Berkeley Catton was even pretty solid as well. And when it comes to goaltending, Oduya, 14 wins, 1 shutout, a 918 and 272. The only problem with these numbers, that's not 16 wins. You didn't pick up 16 wins. We weren't able to win a Stanley Cup, but we're ready to run it back for next season. We have a majority of this team sticking around. I think we have to try to run it back. Dylan Strome, I'm looking to bring you back to the team. You're looking for a 2-year deal. How about we do 1 season? 1 season with a no movement. We do $9 million. I want to run it back with Dylan Strome. Okay, maybe not $9 million. I'll do 9.5 for 1 season. We're going to run it back with Dylan Strome for 1 more year. He was an absolute stud on that second line. I don't want to turn my back on him quite yet. Jorgensen, I don't know if I can do this. Like $7 million is a bit wild. Now that was certainly a heartbreaking loss, but we're going to bounce back in the draft. We're getting a 67 overall. Supposedly he's supposed to be ready in 2 seasons. I don't know about that one. He's pretty young. He has some good potential, so maybe he can be a great player for us. But at the end of the day, is that player going to be the difference maker? Is he going to be the guy that helps us win Stanley Cups? Because clearly things need to change here. We're going to select this gem in the 2nd round. I think he can be a pretty solid player. Never mind, I guess we're in the 3rd round. I completely forgot we traded our 2nd round pick away. Medium top 6 potential power forward. That's not too bad. But we're not done with the amazing prospects. Now we're getting a mediumly potential goaltender in the 4th round. It's just win after win. Except when it comes to the postseason, then we always lose. Now this might turn out to be one of the best drafts we've seen. So we're going to be securing a lowly potential player in the 6th round. But we're not quite done yet. With the 230th overall pick, the 2nd last pick in the draft, we're going to find a low elite potential gem. Yes, you heard that right. We're getting a gem with the 2nd last pick in the draft. 58 overall, 18 years old, low elite potential. This is one of the best drafts we've seen in a long time. So we have $16 million to work with, and there's a handful of guys I want to bring back to the team. Gavin Brindley, can we finally do a reasonable deal? You want $3.5 million? You know what? I'll do it. I'll do 3.4 for 1 season. You'll play 1 final season with the team, and then you'll be leaving. Jaeger, I'm hoping we can do maybe about 2.5. You're looking for 2.3. I think we can do that. What if we did a multi-year deal? I'll do 2.4 for the next 2 seasons. You can be a good bottom 6 player for us. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept that deal, and it looks like you are. Now Lusterrain, you're 85 overall. How much are you looking for? You want 4.7 for the next 3. I don't really want to commit that many seasons to you. Heineman, it's probably going to be the exact same. Never mind, you're only looking for 1 year, so I'll do 3.8 for 1 season. And then Jorgensen, how much are you looking for? We just can't do that. You're a great player, don't get me wrong, but there's just no role for you on this team, so I'll qualify you as an RFA and you'll be traded away. Like, you're a great player, don't get me wrong, there's just no role for you on this team. Like, I can't be giving you that much money to play bottom 6 minutes for me, and there's no role for you in the top 6. Honestly, it's just the way of the road. Now, we didn't have to spend too much money during the re-sign phase, but that's not going to be the same with extensions. Some absolute bags are going to be handed out. Yakimchuk is currently only looking for a 1-year deal, and I'm not really too interested in that, so we might trade him away before the season even starts. When it comes to Lekkermacki, 7.9 million is actually not terrible. So I'm definitely willing to do this, but how about we get it down to $7 million? We actually might be able to do less than $7 million. Can we do 6.5 for the next 6 seasons? Okay, that's a little bit OD. How about 6.8 for the next 6? You get a no movement plus a modified no trade, 19 protection. I think that's a really good deal for us. Lekkermacki, you've been a stud on the 2nd line. Let's keep you around. Berkeley Catton, you looked really good on the 3rd line last season, so I'll definitely keep you around. Here's 3.2 million. Actually, let's do 3.3. 3.3 for the next 2 seasons. That's a really good deal for him. Hoglander, 2.1 was an absolute steal last season in free agency, but you're not going to be matching that this time around, so we're going to hold off. And it's actually probably a good thing we hold off, because who do we have to give a contract extension to? Oduya, and he's going to want an absolute bag here. 9.5 for the next 2 seasons. I would like to do a long-term deal, so I'm going to hold off a little bit. I would like to lock you down for a minimum 6 seasons. If we can't do that, then I will give you that 2-year extension, but I want to do a bit longer than just 2 seasons. So this is what we're going to do with Yakimchuk. We're going to trade him over to the Philadelphia Flyers. Valentanko is going to be brought in, as well as a 2nd round pick. Valentanko is an 87 overall. He's a good offensive defenseman. He's going to be a great addition to the team. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that 2nd round pick, but we will be able to if we throw in the lucrative 7th. The lucrative 7th once again is going to be saving the day. Valentanko is actually a better player than Yakimchuk, so I think we're coming out on top in this deal. Now Jorgensen, I'm not going to lie, for a guy who is an 84 overall and just had an incredible season and is looking for $7 million, I would think you would have a little bit more trade value than what you have, because I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit ridiculous. There is no way all of these players have more trade value than you. Like, you're an absolute dog. So I'm going to trade you over to the Islanders. We're bringing in Joel Farabee, 84 overall, under contract for one more season at $2.5 million. I just need him to play some bottom 6 minutes. So last season we made the Stanley Cup final, but I think the team might be even better. Yes, Dylan Strome has regressed a little bit, and Lekkemaki's only an 85, but Zetterberg's up to an 86, Berkeley Catton's an 83, Joel Farabee's an 84. When it comes to the defense, I think that's actually in a better spot. Connor Ollie, it wouldn't hurt if you progressed a little bit. Like, can you do that? Like, can you get up to like an 87, 88 overall? That would be greatly appreciated. And then when it comes to goaltending, we know what Oduya can do. He's going to double down this season. He's going to perform even better. Also, did he win the Calder last season? I never checked. I don't think this man won the Calder. Who did they give it to? Like, hold on, just wait a minute here. Are you telling me this man that led his team to 60 wins didn't win the Calder last season? I just need a double check with that. Who won the Calder? Nurmi. Nurmi is winning the Calder. This man better have picked up 700 points last season. This man better have led the league in scoring. I need to know what he did. Because our man Oduya literally stepped in, led his team all the way to the Stanley Cup final, was the best goaltender during the regular season. Meanwhile, what did this absolute scrub do last season? 13 goals, 43 assists for 56 points. You are not giving this man the Calder over Oduya. That is so disrespectful. No, we're not going to let that fly. Oduya's got a chip on his shoulder. We're winning the Stanley Cup this season. We're going right to the end of the season. We're winning 60 games. Now, the Fort Wayne Outlaws might not be finishing first in the entire league, but maybe that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about the President's Trophy curse anymore. The Minnesota Wild are going to be first, so that means they're going to be eliminated in the first round. Matt Boldy, 107 points. He's leading the way. Jack Hughes, 107 points. He was pretty solid as well. Heiskanen, 93. Dylan Strome, did you just completely fall off a cliff? 85 overall this season. Why did our second line just completely suck this season? You know what? We're not going to worry about it. We're not going to overlook things. Oduya's still that man. 46 wins, 2 shots, a 908 and a 277. He's dominating like usual. We have the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. Lock in. I need y'all to lock in like you have never locked in before. We have to get a Stanley Cup sooner than later. It's getting ridiculous. Like, I need y'all to tee up. Lock in, do whatever you have to, but we need to start winning. We're dropping game number 1 to shutout. Ain't no way we're losing game number 1. We better win game 3. That's what we're doing. We're winning game 4 as well. We have a 3-1 series lead. We've won 3 games in a row. Let's make it 4 games in a row and then move on to the second round. We're done playing around here. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are done playing around. They're not looking back anymore. They're just going to keep on winning. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round. We're taking down this Atlantic Division team. I'm not scared of any Atlantic Division team. I believe we are down 2-0 in the series. Luckily, we're winning game number 3. Are we down 3-1? Yes, we are. I am now scared of the Atlantic Division Tampa Bay Lightning. This is a tough look for us. The Outlaws really just can't figure it out. We have amazing pieces here, don't get me wrong, but we can just not figure it out. Until now, we have a 3-1 lead entering the third period. We're winning this game. We're moving on to the next. We're slowly making a comeback in this one, but we have to win another 2 games. However, I know that the Fort Wayne Outlaws can do that. We have made these types of comebacks before against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We know how to step up when it matters, but I guess we're not doing that in this one. The third period is going to decide this game, and Lucas Raymond is scoring the winner with 12 seconds left. That actually makes it significantly worse. I did not realize he scored with 12 seconds left. That is so incredibly tough. Nah, like, y'all need to tee up. What are we doing? Like, seriously, what are we doing here? You guys have to figure it out. Now, for the second year in a row, we're losing to the Ops. We're losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions. We can't keep doing this. We can't keep losing to the eventual Cup champs. And you know what? I already know what the move is heading into the offseason. I already know what we're going to be doing at the draft. It's the Jack Hughes strat. Now, what exactly is the Jack Hughes strat? We're trading for the rights to an elite playmaker that's going to be replacing Dylan Strome. I just need to know how much cap space we're going to have to work with. As long as we have lots of cap space, this strat's going to work out for us because Dylan Strome is not coming back to the team. $26 million is a ton of money. It's time for the Jack Hughes strat. Alright, maybe we're not going to do the Jack Hughes strat because there's no one really jumping out at me. Like, we need someone who's still somewhat young, like a 27-year-old, and there isn't really any 27-year-old playmakers. We could go for Jack Eichel, but he's 36. Technically, we could trade for Quinn Hughes' rights, but he is 33 years old, so I don't think that makes too much sense. Riley Heidt is the only guy I'm looking at, but I don't believe he's a playmaker. Oh, never mind. Yes, he is. Okay, maybe that's who we go for. Riley Heidt, we're going to trade for you. So what we'll do is I'll trade the 95th overall pick over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Riley Height's going to be brought to the team. We'll bring him back during the re-sign phase, and he'll be our future second line centerman. Now watch this absolute fleece with the Anaheim Ducks. They don't realize what they just gave up. Now, before we even get to those Anaheim Ducks picks, we're getting a medium league potential playmaker in the second round. That guy's going to be a great piece for us. Okay, the prospect that I wanted actually ended up getting drafted a bit earlier. I wanted this goaltender. He wasn't projected till 115th. He ended up going like 4 picks before us. So yeah, we got a low top 9 potential player, but that's perfectly fine. We'll still bounce back. And it looks like we're bouncing back immediately. We're getting a low league potential playmaker with the 128th overall, but now it's time to move on to the 144th overall. This is a pick that we got from the Anaheim Ducks. Now I am praying that the prospect I want didn't get drafted. I don't think it was Bennett. I actually don't recall what his name was. I think he did get drafted. Ain't no way this man got selected. Yeah, so the man I wanted to go for actually did get selected. Where is he? Did he actually not have the potential that they expected? Okay, maybe he wasn't that good. They had semi-accurate scouting for him to have medium league potential. I guess he's not going to have that. So yeah, that trade we made with the Anaheim Ducks, completely pointless. But you know what? Even though that Ducks trade didn't work out for us, we're going to keep on bringing in lowly potential prospects. I'm not going to lie, it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. Like, I keep on bringing all these lowly potential prospects to the team, and very few of them have actually turned to superstars for us. Like, look at this. This guy is projected 222nd. We're going to select him 194th, and we still have our 7th round pick to work with. Now we're going to get another lowly potential player. So 2 lowly potential players in the 6th and 7th round. I don't know how we're securing all these great prospects, but we are. Now all I need these guys to do is develop for me. So when it comes to handing out extensions, we played some hardball with Oduya, but now it's time to bring him back. And what's he going to be looking at? Well, he's looking at a 5-year deal now. He has pretty high contract interest. He has pretty high organizational interest. We might be able to do in the $8 million range. So we're going to do $8 million for the next 5 seasons. I think that's a great deal for him. Outside of Oduya, of course, we have to bring Riley Heidt back to the team. And how much is he going to be looking for? $13 million. It's a little bit much. I don't want to give you a no movement, so how about I take that away and we get this down to around 12.5. I think 12.5 is pretty fair for you. I know you don't have a ton of contract interest there, but you do have a lot of organizational interest. So I'm going to offer you 12.5, and I guess we'll see what you say. I'm going to simulate one day. Riley Height's going to be accepting. Oduya is going to be accepting. We're bringing back the key players. So that's going to leave us with $7 million to work with. Who else are we going to bring back? Gavin Brindley. These are the deals I've been looking for. $1.1 million. Gavin Brindley, welcome back to the team. Dawes, 1.7 for 1 season. I can definitely work with that. Hoglander, I don't know how much you're going to be looking for. You want $3.2 million. I don't think we can do that. Bischel, you're going to be leaving. Heineman, you've dropped a handful of overalls. You're looking for $3.1 million. I don't think we're going to do that because I got to make sure that we have money for this lowly potential player right here. How about we do a 2-year deal? You're not interested in 2 seasons. I'll do 1 season at $1.2 million. He's going to be returning. And I guess that's not the only lowly potential player that we have to sign. Simon, I'll bring you in as well. We'll do $1.2 million for the next 2 years. Now, this is where things might get a little bit sketchy. Heiskanen, Ola Zetterberg. It's time for both of you guys to be handed out extensions. And what are you going to be looking for? That's not happening. I'm not giving you $19 million. So Heiskanen will be traded away. Zetterberg, how much do you want? $12 million for 1 season. We might be moving on from 2 of the players that founded this franchise. 2 guys that were supposed to be game changers for us. They just don't want to stick around. And then Connor Ollie, 8.5 is not terrible. I can do that. However, we're not giving you any clauses. How about we do $8 million for the next 5 seasons? That's a pretty solid contract for you. That's going to leave us with $21 million in cap space. Heiskanen, Zetterberg, unfortunately, I think we're going to be moving on. All right, now trading Heiskanen actually might be the move here. Yes, he's a 93 overall and he's one of our best players, but $19 million is crazy for this man. So how about we trade him over to the Ducks? We get Cunningham, 89 overall. He's a solid power forward. He can definitely play some top line minutes. We can also get this man they drafted 4th overall. He's also a power forward, starting off as an 83 overall. He can immediately jump to the lineup. And then we can also get this other medium league potential player. He's a 66 overall. I have no clue if he's going to develop for us or not, but he could definitely be a good asset. And on top of all that, because this team is going to be absolute trash this upcoming season, give me your 1st round pick as well. I think this is a very fair deal. I'll give you a 2nd rounder from the Philadelphia Flyers, which we own. I think we're fleecing these boys. I think this is an absolute finesse from us. We're walking away with a ton of great assets. We're getting a 1st round pick, which likely will be top 3. No, we're fleecing them. Plain and simple, these boys are getting fleeced. You can have your 3rd round pick back. We're making big moves early on. Now, Zetterberg, thank you for the amazing seasons here. You've been an absolute superstar for us, but we have to move on. I just can't afford to do a one-season deal with you. We are getting rid of the old core, and we're bringing in a new core. Swanson's going to be a part of that new core. He's going to be a great piece that we're going to lock down long-term. I'll throw in a third-round pick into this deal, and I feel like that should be enough. I guess we're going to be throwing a second-rounder in. I mean, granted, Swanson's a great player, and we're going to lock him down to an elite contract, so this trade's definitely going to be worth it. Like, Zetterberg was wildin'. Like, what are we talking about? $12 million for one season? Nah, we gotta do multiple years here. And that's exactly what we're gonna do with Swanson. We're just gonna keep him around for multiple seasons. We might be looking at $10.5 million for the next 6 seasons. I don't really want to give him a no movement, so I'm gonna take that out. I could do a modified no trade though, and I wouldn't be against a modified no trades. How about we do 50% team protection? We do $10.5 million for the next 6 seasons. That's a great contract in my eyes, and he's gonna be accepting immediately. Now, before we head into next season, we need some third pairing defensemen. Solberg, you're gonna be one of them. Here's 1.4 for the next 2 seasons. When it comes to our right defense, Boaki, I guess you're going to be that guy. We're bringing you in for 1 season. I would like to do 2 years with you, and I think we will be able to do 2 seasons. We'll do a nice little 2x2 with Boaki. He's going to be one of our right side defensemen. But just in case he doesn't accept, Tristan Lanoux, here's $850K. That's a steal for a 79 overall. So we made some adjustments over the offseason. We brought in some great players on some great contracts. The bottom 6 is looking better than ever. The defensive core is still looking amazing. And then when it comes to goaltending, Oduya, you're the man for us. Gardner's going to be the backup. He has fringe star potential. I signed him to a really cheap deal. That's why he's here. Oduya, you're supposed to be our superstar goaltender. You're supposed to lead the way for us. I need you to do that this season. Once the postseason comes around, I need you to post godlike numbers. So I think moving forward, we're done stopping at the trade deadline. First in the entire league, a 51-8-6 record. Nobody can compete with us right now. 22 more points than the closest team. Fort Wayne is the best in the entire league, but they're going to have to close it out when it matters. Jack Hughes, he has 82 points so far, so he's definitely going to be a point a game, considering right now he's already significantly above a point a game. Matt Boldy, 71 points. Cunningham, 63. The rest of the team's looking pretty solid. Riley Height, I'm not going to lie, I was hoping for a little bit more, but you're holding your role on the second line, so I can't complain too much. And Oduya, you're that man. But so is Gardner. Hold on, wait a minute. 16 wins, 1 shot, a 925 and a 211. Bro is him. What can I say? Evan Gardner, I was unaware you were him. I did not realize you had that much of a dog in you. You're looking spectacular right now. But yeah, we're not making any trades right to the end of the season. Now, if y'all don't win a Stanley Cup this season, it's rigged. Plain and simple. If we don't win this season, it's rigged. We are the best team in the entire league. We won 66 games. We are breaking records out here. But somehow it won't be enough. Somehow this team is going to find a way to lose. 46 wins, 5 shots, a 915 and a 242 from Oduya. Gardner won 20 games this season, posting a 932 and a 195. Y'all have to win. We're taking on the Florida Panthers. Please win a cup. It would be crazy work if y'all couldn't win a Stanley Cup. Like, we have such a good team. Of course we're dropping game number 1. I should not be surprised. I'm not even surprised we're dropping game number 2. Are we going to get swept? We just about got swept in the first round after winning 66 games. This is crazy work. We're going right to the draft. I'm not stopping. Right to the draft. We might even skip the draft. I'm that annoyed. 66 wins and we lost in 5 games. You can't make that up. Also, apparently the Anaheim Ducks are going to be a very good team this season. That is very surprising to me, but you know what? We're not going to worry about it. I'm trading the 27th overall to the Calgary Flames. We're getting the 67th and a future second rounder. That 67th overall pick should be pretty helpful for us. And then with our next move, we're going to trade the 29th overall pick over to the Capitals. We're getting the 84th, the 92nd, and a future second round pick. I guess we're not walking away with that future second rounder. We might be able to get a future third though. I mean, at the end of the day, the main pick I'm looking at is the 84th overall, and it looks like we're going to be able to acquire that. All right, we're not off to a great start. This guy was supposed to have low league potential. He's not going to have that. That's perfectly fine. We're going to move on because we're going to get the player that we actually want now. Okay, I might have lied because the player I wanted got drafted. So we are going to be 0 for 2 so far with draft picks. We are getting a gem here, so I'm not going to be too upset about that. But we are getting let down big time right now. When it comes to the 84th overall pick, we're looking to get a medium league potential right defenseman. Are we going to be walking away with one? Medium top 4? You know what? It could be significantly worse. Moving on to the 92nd overall, we got to get at least one star player here. And when it came to the 92nd overall pick, the player that I wanted got drafted. We cannot catch a break. No, we're really going to miss on every draft pick. He had semi-accurate scouting to have medium elite potential. I was so convinced we were walking away with a medium elite potential goaltender. That did not happen. So we're going to take a flyer on Boydchuk. Hopefully he has low elite potential. I am praying for a miracle. We finally got something, a low elite potential player. It might have taken till round 6, but at least we got something. But yeah, this draft was literally just miss after miss after miss after miss until our 194th overall pick. Then we got something. So after missing out on every great player in the draft, we're moving on to the re-sign phase, and we might be losing a lot of these guys. Zetterberg, I was fully prepared to lose you. You're going to be wanting 9.6 million. Obviously, we can't do that. Dawes, more than likely you're going to be leaving the team. You want 1.8 million. I guess I can bring you back. Here's 1.8 million. You can return. When it comes to all of the RFAs though, I'm assuming they're going to be looking for way too much money, so we're just going to be qualifying all of them. Like even these guys right down here, I don't think they're willing to accept two-way contracts, so they're all going to be qualified as RFAs. Now Valentanko, I'm looking to bring you back to the team, but I'm hoping you're not asking for too much money. $15 million is a little bit wild, but you know what? We can probably make it work considering you're one of our #1 defensemen. I don't really want to do $15 million though, so how about we get this down quite a bit? Can we do $13 million for the next 8 seasons? Like what if we do something like this? We're saving $2 million. You get a no movement along with a modified no trade. 13.4 million for the next 8 seasons. I'm really hoping he's going to be willing to accept that deal because I think it could be an absolute steal for us. So Brady Martin, we're going to pick you up from the Colorado Avalanche. You're an 81 overall. I need you to play some bottom 6 minutes, and I know for a fact you can fill that role. We're going to have to give up a 7th round pick as well, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Like at the end of the day, who cares about giving up the lucrative 7th round picks? It's going to be worth it for us. So Brady Martin, welcome to the team. No, they're wildin'. Here's a 6th round pick as well. When it comes to trade value, we're giving you more than enough. The fact that I had to give you a 6th rounder is a little bit wild. Alright, there's nothing more for me to say about this team. We know what's going to happen. We're going to be the best team in the entire league, and we're going to completely choke when it matters. Oduya, I'm expecting another incredible season. Your role is now elite goaltender. I need you to perform like that in the postseason. I have no clue what your numbers were during the postseason. I have no clue what the team's numbers were during the postseason because I didn't want to look at them because of how much I was disappointed. Win me a Stanley Cup. We are good enough to win one. I don't know why we can't figure it out. Now, there's only one thing we have to do before we start simulating the postseason. We need the Fort Wayne Outlaws to absolutely lock in. Y'all need to figure it out. We are in season 10 right now, and we are still without a Stanley Cup. Jack Hughes, Cunningham, Matt Boldy, Lecker Mackey, Riley Height. I need every one of you guys to lock in. Oduya, you have to lock in. Everyone needs to be perfect heading into the postseason. I basically need this team to go 16-0 because if we lose a game, that might be the downfall. Like not very often do the Fort Wayne Outlaws lose one game and then not lose any more games after that. More than likely, if we lose one game, we're losing 2 games. And if we lose 2 games, we're losing 3 games, and it just snowballs really quick. We're winning the first 2 games, we're winning the first 3 games, sweep the Montreal Canadiens. That is the perfect start. This is the start that I needed. In our last 3 games, we only allowed 3 goals. That is perfect goaltending and perfect defense. I mean, technically it's not perfect because perfect would have been a shutout, but that's neither here nor there. We're moving on to the second round, and now we have the Buffalo Sabres. I need perfection to continue. We're winning game number 1, but dropping game 2. You better not drop game number 3. This is what happens when you lose one game. Once you lose a game, you lose 2 games, then you lose 3 games. The question is, can we make a 3-1 series comeback, or are we going to be falling to the Buffalo Sabres? We're going to fall to the Buffalo Sabres 10 seasons in, and we still haven't won a Stanley Cup. But we've won the President's Trophy a handful of times, but we can't win the Stanley Cup. No, we're really never going to figure it out. We lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions. We really did that. Hughes, Boldy, Cunningham, I don't care. I really don't care. Oduya, a 909, a 272. Meanwhile, this is what Gardner's putting up. Maybe he should be the starting goaltender. I don't even know anymore. Like, we are yet to win a Stanley Cup. When it comes to the President's Trophy, we've won 3 in the last 4 years. Like, this team has been one of the top in the NHL for a long time now, but for some reason, they just can't figure out a way to win. I don't know why we can't win the most important games, but we just can't seem to do that. Now, Oduya, I know I have you under contract for a couple more years, but this might be our next goaltender. Beginning as a 72 overall with medium elite potential, he is the guy. Clarence McFarland, you're going to be our superstar in the future. I can see it all happening right now. Like, you are a 72 overall already. Yeah, you're going to be a stud. But we might walk away with a high elite potential goaltender as well. High starter. it was worth the selection for sure. So we have $4.5 million in cap space to work with. So I think we just keep it 100 with everybody. You're all leaving the team. Every player right here is going to be leaving unless they're willing to sign for like $1 million. And I can guarantee you that is not going to happen with a single player. Nobody on this team except for Dawes, because we never play this man. He is a healthy scratch every season. He is the only guy willing to sign for $1 million, and that's because he's not touching the ice. So let's give him $1.8 million once again and then not play him. Now Cunningham has definitely been one of the best players on this team, and it's time for him to get an extension. And how much is he looking for? $14.8 million. I can definitely do that. So Cunningham is going to be returning to the team. I'm hoping we can do around $12 million with him. If I have to do a modified no trade in order to get this done, I'm definitely willing to do so. So what we're going to try is $12.3 million. I'll do a modified no trade clause. We'll do 50%. He'll get a no movement as well. That's going to leave us with about $1.6 million. Then we have another 90 overall player to sign, and he wants $12 million. We actually might be able to get this done. Seneca, you've been a great player for us, but I think it's time we move on. Or just hear me out. We trade Riley Heidt away. He's getting paid $12.5 million. He's only an 85 overall right now. We could probably get a cheaper replacement. I think that's what we're going to do. All right, I think I figured out exactly what we're going to do. Riley Heidt, I'm going to trade you over to the San Jose Sharks. Michael Misa is going to be acquired. He's only an 85 overall, but that's exactly what Riley Heidt is right now. The only difference is Michael Misa, you are now going to start playing some top 6 minutes. You're going to play on the second line with us, and you're going to see a ton of success. I'm hoping San Jose is willing to retain $1 million. That's not happening. So we're not going to be able to get any money retained. However, we are going to free up about $4 million in this deal, and that is going to be very important. On top of freeing up $4 million, we're also going to be getting a 3rd round pick. Okay, never mind. Maybe we're not getting a 3rd round pick. Instead, we'll walk away with 2 4th rounders. Michael Misa and 2 4th rounders are going to be acquired. I guess 1 4th round pick is going to be acquired. The main point of this deal is we're freeing up a lot of money. Now, Seneca, I'm going to trade you away for basically scraps. All right, so this is what we're going to do with Seneca. Him and 2 2nd round picks are being sent over to the Winnipeg Jets. We're going to be picking up 2 really cheap players from the Winnipeg Jets. That's going to free up enough money so Frigon can come back to the team. So Frigon, I'm hoping we can do around $10.5 million. Of course, I'll give you a modified no trade and all of that. I don't think we're going to be able to do quite that little. We'll do $11 million for the next 5 seasons. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to keep you around. Between you and Cunningham, that's going to be a lot of money, but our top 6 and our defense is going to be so elite. We're not really going to have a bottom 6 or a 3rd pairing, but we have an incredible top 6. Now, with the remaining $10 million we have in cap space, we have to bring a backup goaltender to the team. But on top of a backup goaltender, we could also use another defenseman. So like usual, let's just find a really cheap 3rd pairing defenseman. I don't need you to be a star. I just need you to accept a really cheap contract. And that's what we just found. 1.2 for the next 2 years. That's what we're going to do with this guy. Actually, I'll do 1.3. I'll pay him a little bit extra to join the team. Granted, he's only a 79 overall, so it's not like he's going to be a superstar. There's also this guy right here, Bickle. $800K for the next 2 years. I'll make that $975K for the next 2. You have low elite potential. It's a cheap deal, why not? Also, since we're handing out absolute bags, here you go, Lynn, $1 million for the next 2. No, I do not care at all what our bottom 6 looks like. Here is the top 6. They're going to score a ridiculous amount of goals. Here's our defense. They're going to keep the puck out of the net. And here is our goaltender, 85 overall Oduya. I don't care if he only has star potential now. Bro has that dog in him, and it's not a good dog, because let's look at these playoff numbers. Bro has not shown up for me. Granted, this postseason wasn't too bad. His first postseason with the team was really solid. Last season was kind of mid, but these regular season numbers are something different. Since this man debuted in the NHL, he has 181 wins, 58 losses, 13 OT losses, and 16 shutouts. I would say these are pretty good numbers through 4 seasons. But the real question is, can he win a Stanley Cup? Because he hasn't done that yet. Like, he has won 2 William Jennings trophies, but he hasn't won a Stanley Cup. Now we have to shake things up, and maybe shaking things up is us not finishing first in the entire league. We're going to be 4th this season. That's perfectly fine, because every time we finish first in the entire league, things don't go good for us. Jack Hughes, 100 points. Cunningham's going to be picking up 92, Matt Boldy 82. The second line wasn't as great this season. The defense wasn't producing like usual. That's perfectly fine though. Oduya, he was doing his thing. 41 wins, 3 shots, a 903 and a 286. Some of the worst numbers he's posted since he joined the team, but that's fine because we're going to figure it out. We have ourselves the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. We know the Toronto Maple Leafs can be a tough team, but I'm not too sure if they're ready for us. Granted, at this point, I'm just completely yapping. Every team team is prepared for us because we are going to completely fold when it matters most. We're going to be shutting the Leafs out in game number 1, that's great, but we're beating the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. The Toronto Maple Leafs don't normally win in the first round, but they might today because they're going to take us down, aren't they? We might have won the first 2 games, but they're going to make the comeback. At the end of the day, I have no clue what the Outlaws are going to do season in and season out. This team is either going to be competitive or they're going to get swept, and there's really no in between. So we're going to be taking down the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. We're moving on to the second round, and we have the Buffalo Sabres. Now, one thing that has to be mentioned here, the Buffalo Sabres smoked us in basically every game we played against them this season. However, things might be a little bit different. We're going to be splitting the series with the Buffalo Sabres. It's a best of 3 moving forward, so game 5 is going to be the most important one. And what a surprise, we're dropping an important game. I'm not even jumping into game 6. We're going to win that one and then get disappointed in game 7. So here we go. It's time for game 7 disappointment. We all know what's going to happen. Matthew Tkachuk's picking up the first goal. Brady Martin's picking up the second goal, so we have a tie game. Wow, that's really interesting. We're losing in the third period. Who could have seen that one coming except for absolutely everybody? You know what? I'd like to apologize to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was talking about how this team never wins in the first round, and you know what? They've won the first round a couple times. But I feel like it's not right for me to disrespect the Toronto Maple Leafs when the Outlaws just fold every season, like season in and season out. This team just finds a different way to lose. So how can I criticize the Toronto Maple Leafs when we can't accomplish anything ourselves? Yes, we've made it to 1 Stanley Cup final, but that's about it. We really haven't done too much outside making it to that 1 cup final. The LA Kings gonna be Stanley Cup champions. Toronto, I want to take back any shade I was throwing you guys. You guys don't deserve it. And how can I throw shade when the Outlaws can't do anything? Like, this team's really showing up in the postseason every year and then completely folding. It doesn't matter how good the team looks, we're going to find a way to fold every time. Oduya, 7 wins, 2 shots, a 920 and a 253. You still lost in the second round with those numbers. Like, at this point, it's actually a little bit impressive that this team can be so good every year and then fold in the playoffs. Now, even when things look bad for the Outlaws, there is one place where they always look good, and that's going to be the NHL draft. And what are we going to be walking away with this time? Well, we're going to be walking away with some medium league potential players. But it's not going to be a medium league potential goaltender. No, we're getting a medium league potential right winger, starting off as a 56 overall. That might be the steal of the draft. Okay, at this point, I don't care about low league potential players anymore. We have drafted so many, I don't care about any of them. Give me a Stanley Cup. I want to win a Stanley Cup. So we're going to be losing all 3 of these players because we can't afford to bring them back. We only have $3 million in cap space. I don't know how we're going to roster a bottom 6, but I think we're going to find a way somehow. Now, David Jiricek's going to be looking for an extension. Of course, I want to bring him back to the team, but he's looking for $14 million. Now, you know what? I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Jiricek, we're holding on to you for this season. If we want to win a Stanley Cup, I'm not going to be able to trade Jiricek away and have us be in a better position. So we're holding on to him. We're going all in for this season. We need to win a Stanley Cup. I don't want to trade him away. I can't afford to lose him for nothing. Jiricek, I need you to be here for us to win a Stanley Cup. Now, unfortunately, Matt Boldy's time is coming to an end with the team. He's 35 years old. His trade value is completely fallen off. But if we want to win a Stanley Cup, we're going to need him on the team. But we might as well bring in his replacement, and that's going to be Fesserini. 83 overall at 18 years old. He was just a top draft pick. We need him to be the future of this team. So we're giving up a medium league potential defenseman, a medium league potential goaltender, and a second round pick. Now, Fesserini is not going to be the only medium league potential player we're bringing to the team. Now we're picking up Cooper Rowley from the St. Louis Blues. He's also a power forward, drafted 5th overall. Cuff, a first rounder, and a high start potential goaltender is all going to be shipped over to St. Louis. Rowley's going to be joining the team as well. 2 cheap guys for the bottom 6. That's what we need here. Now, after this season, there's going to be a mini retool. Jack Hughes, Cunningham, Boldy, Lekermacki, Misa, Frigon. This team should have won a Stanley Cup. This team should have won multiple Stanley Cups by now, but we have never figured it out. David Jiricek, when you join the team, Swanson's just going to be taking the top spot. We have a replacement in the wings already, but at the end of the day, does it matter if we have a replacement? The goal is to win a Stanley Cup. I'm not worried about replacing players at this point. I am only worried about winning Stanley Cups, and we can't do that right now. We haven't been able to do that until now. I say until now like things are really going to change. We're a second round exit. We all know it. Now, we've been in this position before, and we know what's going to happen. We're going to lose in the first round. It's bound to happen. This team's somehow going to choke in the most important games. Yes, the team looks amazing. Yes, the plus minuses are phenomenal. It doesn't matter. Goaltending numbers, Oduya almost had a goals against below 2. This man allowed 140 goals in 65 games played. Safe to say, he was locked in this season. He even had 9 shutouts. First round exit to the Detroit Red Wings. I've seen this all before. Like, because I've dealt with enough nonsense, I'm not even turning on the face cam. Nope, we're just gonna witness this team lose. I don't need the face cam on to see us lose. We're dropping game number 1. Who could have seen that coming? We're responding in game 2. That's cool and all. Winning game 3. Alright, it's good to see that this team's actually figured it out after dropping game number 1. Why on earth did we drop game number 1? I have no clue. That shouldn't have happened. We're taking down the Red Wings and we're moving on to the second round. Now, Fort Wayne showed some potential in the first round, but they've also shown us that they can lose. They can be up 3-0 in this series and they can collapse. We're moving on to the second round matchup, which is going to have us taking on the Ottawa Senators. We're dropping game number 1, but responding in game 2. Winning game 3. Can we win game number 4? Yes, we can. We have a 3-1 series lead, but I do want to point out, in the first round, we lost the first game. In the second round, we also lost the first game. Why are we dropping game number 1 all the time? I have no clue, but we're not going to worry about it. We're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't think I need to tell you what's going to happen in game number 1. I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to somehow drop game number 1. But not only did we drop game number 1, we dropped game 2 and game 3. So yeah, we're down 3-1 in the series. At one point, we were down 3-0 in the series, and we are going to fight back from that 3-0 deficit and somehow force game 7. We're now going to jump into game 7 with all the hope in the world. We just made a 3-0 series comeback. There is no way we're going to fold in game 7, right? That would never happen. We are currently trailing by 1 goal entering the third period. After making a 3-0 series comeback, we're falling in game 7. Honestly, all you can do at this point is laugh, but I'm not laughing. Nope, no laughs whatsoever coming from me. You will not even see a grin on this face. I am so incredibly annoyed with the Fort Wayne Outlaws. Y'all looked pretty solid through the first 2 rounds, and then you lost 1 game, and then you lost another, and then you lost another one after that, and we ended up losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions only about the 18th time we've done that in today's video. We just completed year 12, and we are still without a Stanley Cup. We have won so many playoff games, but just haven't won a Stanley Cup. Scoring looked pretty solid. When it came to goaltending, Oduya posted 11 wins, 1 shutout, a .930 and a .218. Those numbers still weren't good enough to get us to the Stanley Cup final. Like, it's not like we lost in the Cup final. We didn't even make it there with those numbers. He posted a .218 and we still couldn't make the Cup final. At this point, I'm fully convinced this franchise is never going to win a Stanley Cup. Now, I thought something was a little bit off when I saw how much cap space we had. Then I realized we're missing one very important player on this team. Jack Hughes retired on us. So Jack Hughes is gone. We're going to have to make some aggressive moves now. All right, so I'm trying to pull off some wild 3-team trade. Matt Boldy, it's time for us to head a different direction. You're 36 years old. You're not part of the core moving forward. We need a replacement for Jack Hughes now that he's gone. Jared Check, you still have quite a bit of trade value, even though you have no years left on the contract. You're about to become a free agent. But if I can trade both of these guys away and get this medium league potential player, it's going to be worth it. Cool. Now that we've got that player, we're flipping him over to Philly. Because at the end of the day, the real player we want is Kincaid. He has medium league potential. He's a good playmaker. He's now going to be playing number 1 minutes. He's going to be the Jack Hughes replacement. They're going to be rejecting this offer. That's perfectly fine. We have draft picks to work with. So here's the 97th overall and the 130th overall. Hopefully this is going to be enough to get the deal done. It looks like it is. So we might have found the Jack Hughes replacement, but now we need the Matt Boldy replacement. So we're going to complete a 3-team trade. McLean, a 3rd and 4th rounder, is going to be acquired from the Buffalo Sabres. They're rejecting that. I'll take the 4th rounder out. They're even rejecting that. But if we throw a 7th round pick in this deal, we'll be able to get it done. So here's the 229th overall pick. The Buffalo Sabres are accepting, but now we're moving over to the Boston Bruins. Because now McLean is going to be shipped out, including this 5th round pick, this 6th round pick, and this 3rd round pick from the Buffalo Sabres. Turakov's being brought in. He's on a 6-year deal. He's a 90 overall. $11.2 million is not a terrible contract whatsoever. Turakov, welcome to the team. Now there's a couple more trades we have to make. Rowley, I'm going to send you over to the Washington Capitals. We're bringing in Yasu, medium league potential, 84 overall playmaker. We could use another playmaker on this team. However, I'm not just picking up Yasu. We're also going to get the 2nd round pick as well. They're going to be rejecting that. How about a 3rd round pick? It turns out they don't have a 3rd round pick, so how about we just get a 4th and 5th rounder? I think this is a pretty fair deal. I guess we're not going to be doing a fair deal here. Instead, we're getting fleeced. I mean, granted, that's not really much of a fleece. We went from getting a 4th rounder and a 5th rounder to just a 4th rounder. All right, we might still be at the draft, but we're not drafting. I can tell you that for a fact. We are trading everything away in order to get the players that we actually want and the players we actually need. So I'll throw Donovan and a 1st round pick into this deal to get this medium league potential prospect. Colorado's rejecting, and that's perfectly fine because I will throw in all of these picks. I don't care what it takes anymore. We have to get Rocky Anthony. He's going to be our new star right defenseman. And currently this man plays for the Washington Capitals. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade Michael Misa away and that medium league potential player that we just traded for. Rocky Anthony is going to join the team. He's going to be a stud right defenseman. He's under contract for another 2 years at $9.4 million. I'm trying to make a trade here. I don't care who the Buffalo Sabres are drafting. I'm offering this over to Washington. They're saying yes. Now all we have to do over the offseason is fill out our bottom 6. Now we might have $30 million in cap space and that might seem like a lot. However, we can only do 1-year deals because there's a lot of extensions that have to be handed out. So I'll do 3.6 for Eriksson. When it comes to Lynn, I think there's a very good chance he doesn't come back, especially at 6.1 million. I'm not even going to check what this guy's looking for because I know he's going to be absolutely bugging. Zykov, I'd love to bring back to the team, and at this price, I think it's amazing. 2.9 for the next 3, you can certainly return. And then with all these lowly potential players, it's likely not happening. Like Bro was asking for $6 million. I can give Stahl a deal at 1.8, that's reasonable, but Bro was really asking for $6 million as a 79 overall. He is wildin'. Alright, so maybe I shouldn't have been worried too much about extensions because I guess it's not this season, it's next season where we have to throw some absolute bags. Yeah, Sue, I can bring you back to the team. We'll do $8 million for the next 3. You're going to be a great second line player for me, so you're basically locked down for the next 4, and I think that's a great thing for us. Now when it comes to Oduya, 89 overall, 26 years old, he's currently getting paid $8 million. How much does he want when it comes to an extension? $15 million. I think we're going to ride your contract out. Oduya, this is likely your final season with the team. I just can't give you $15 million, especially when we have another great goaltender in the system. That just doesn't make sense. Now, although we have $25 million in cap space, when it comes to building our defense, we need a very cheap defense here. So signing an 80 overall for $2.1 million, I'll call that an absolute steal. And then when it comes to a right defenseman, who's going to be willing to accept a pretty cheap deal? Well, this man's only looking for $1.3 million, and I can definitely do that. So he's going to be playing some good minutes for the next 2 seasons. Now, when it comes to forwards, basically anyone that's willing to accept $4 million or less. David Enstrom, you're looking for 2 seasons. I don't really want to do 2 seasons. Tristan Brose, I can bring you in. We'll do $4.7 million for 1 season. You're an 82 overall, you can play your role here. Connor Zary, you're another guy that can play your role, so here's $2.6 million for 1 season. I feel like you're going to be willing to accept that one. And then how about we get stupid with 1 signing? Who is willing to sign a 1-year deal? Tim Stutzel. I will offer you $19.4 million for 1 season. I have no clue if you're going to be willing to accept that, but if you do, it would help us a ton. And just like that, Tim Stutzel, welcome to the team. That is a game changer for us. It's also kind of wild that you're going to be playing probably 3rd line minutes for me. So Tim Stutzel actually changed my mind. Instead of you playing bottom 6 minutes, considering you're a 92 overall, you're playing top line minutes. I am expecting every player on this top line to have at least 100 points this season. When it comes to the second line, I know y'all can play your role. We got some great players here. They're going to show up when it matters. The defense looks amazing. No weaknesses whatsoever. When it comes to goaltending, Oduya, you're an 89 overall. It's your final season with the team. Win me a Stanley Cup. McFarland's taking over next season. He's going to be our guy. Now, even though we lost Jack Hughes, we're still the best team in the entire league. The Chicago Blackhawks must be tight. They won 57 games this season and still didn't win the President's Trophy. But you know what the Chicago Blackhawks have done in this video that we haven't? Won Stanley Cups. Stutzel, Cunningham, both of you guys had over 100 points. Turakov, what were you doing? You are a sniper that scored 22 goals from me. Why did you shoot 9.1%? Bro is a complete fraud. Like a couple seasons ago, he was a 30 goal scorer, almost a 40 goal scorer. For some reason, his shooting percentage has declined for 3 straight years. This is ridiculous. Turakov, you're supposed to be a superstar for us. I have no clue what you're doing here. Oduya, it's your final season with the team. Win me a cup. That's all I can say. We're taking on Toronto in the first round. I will not disrespect this team because we have lost in the playoffs far too many times. Like, the Toronto Maple Leafs are a great team. They're probably going to put pressure on us. I would not be overly surprised if they beat us in the first round. They're winning game number 1, but we're responding in game 2. We're winning game 3. Can we win game number 4? No, we can't. Who cares if we're the best team in the entire league? We will still find a way to lose in the first round. All we have to do is win one more game and we'll be moving on. Can we do that? Yes, we can. We're going to shut up the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they put up way too much of a fight. There is no reason the Toronto Maple Leafs should be pressing us that much. We're moving on to the second round. We have the Tampa Tampa Bay Lightning. What is going to happen in the second round? Well, I feel like the Outlaws are going to completely collapse. We're exchanging the first 2 games. We're winning game number 3 and we're winning game 4. So we have a 3-1 series lead. Win one more game and we can move on to the conference finals. We're going to be doing that. Now, we have done this a couple times in this video so far. We've been able to make it to the conference finals. Very rarely do we ever make it to the Stanley Cup final though. So win me 4 more games and we can make it to the Cup final. 4 more wins sends us to the Stanley Cup final. We're dropping game number 2, but we have a 3-1 series lead. Win game number 5. That's all we have to do. Okay. We have made it here. We have made it to the Stanley Cup final. We are taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. I do not want to talk to my coach. I do not want to waste any time. We have the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup final. The top 2 teams are going at it. Oduya, I haven't given you a contract extension, and you're never getting one from me unless you win us a Stanley Cup right here. We've exchanged the first 4 games. It's a best of 3 moving on. Game 5 is the most important one, and we're folding. We have to win game 6, and we have to win game 7. Why am I not surprised? In the most important games, this team is folding. It's a scoreless first period. Moving into the second, Matty Beniers is picking up a goal. There is no way we get shut out in game 6 of the Stanley Cup final when it matters the most. Well, we didn't quite get shut out, but I think I would have preferred us getting shut out. We're losing 3-1. We're losing another Stanley Cup. We are 0-2 in the Stanley Cup final. I think 13 years into the video, we're still cupless. Like, you can't make this up anymore. You really can't. There is no way that we are 13 years into this video and the Fort Wayne Outlaws haven't won a Stanley Cup. We have won like 6 President's Trophies. We haven't won a Stanley Cup. Stutzel, Turikov, Festerini, Cunningham, Freegon. What were y'all doing for me? Why weren't you stepping up when it mattered? Oduya posted 14 wins, 3 shouts, a 926 and a 218. If you looked at this man's postseason numbers and postseason numbers alone, I'm talking the save percentage and goals against, you would probably assume at the very minimum this man has 2 Stanley Cups, a 927 and a 218, a 931 and a 218. You would assume based on these numbers he won back-to-back Stanley Cups. You might even assume 3 straight when he posted a 921. And then going back to his first season, a 918, a 272, they're okay numbers. But these last 3 seasons, a 921, a 931, and a 927. And we didn't win a single Stanley Cup in the last 3. That is ridiculous. So Oduya, thank you for the amazing seasons here, but I'm not bringing you back to the team. I'm not giving you $15 million. We just can't do that. You know who we could bring back to the team though? Tim Stutzel. Are you willing to do another 1-year deal? He's not really interested in that. So Tim Stutzel, you're not coming back. Oduya, how much do you want? Like, realistically, can we do this? Yes, we can. He has smartened up quite a bit now. So maybe, just maybe, we keep him around. I know we didn't win a Stanley Cup, but you have been the franchise goaltender for a long time now. I will give you $10.7 million for the next 8 seasons. That is $2.7 million more than what you're getting paid right now. I think you've earned that increase in pay. And worst case Ontario, we trade you away 5 years from now when you start to decline. So Oduya is coming back to the team. I didn't really expect that, but here we are. All right, so we got ourselves a mediumly potential prospect with a 98th overall pick. He will be traded immediately. Yeah. Also, I thought we didn't have any picks for this draft. Maybe we had a few picks. I honestly thought we traded all of our picks away. Apparently not. Also, we're going to take a flyer on this guy. 60 picks early. What's going to be happening? 70 potential. If that does not sum up today's video, I don't know what will. So now we're after the draft, and I feel like Tim Stutzel might be willing to sign a 1-year deal. It doesn't look like it, but maybe he is. $16 million for 1 season. Tim Stutzel, are you going to be willing to accept that? Probably not, but I'm still going to offer it to you. Wow, I'm actually very shocked you accepted that. All right, Tim Stutzel is coming back for another season. I don't know what we're going to do with the bottom 6, but we'll figure it out. Now, thankfully, we're going to have a lot of cap space to work with, so re-signing pieces shouldn't be that difficult. We're going to start with Swanson. How much is he wanting? $16 million. That's actually not too bad. Of course, we're going to do less than $16 million, though. How about $4.5 million? It's about $4 million more than what he's getting paid right now. He's accepting immediately. Connor Ollie, how much are you looking for? $15 million. I'm not giving you that. Rocky Anthony, how much do you want? $11 million. I don't hate that. I'm going to take away the no movement though, and I'll give you 10.8, actually 10.5 for the next 3. So Rocky Anthony is going to be sticking around as well. Festerini, we do have to give you an extension. I feel like your extension shouldn't be too bad. Okay, $11 million is a little bit wild. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'll do 11.2 for the next 3. And then when it comes to Kincaid, we're going to have to hold off because he's only looking to sign a 1-year deal, and I'm not a big fan of that. So Connor Ollie, you were a great player that we brought to the team a handful of years ago, but it's time for us to move on. Wilm's going to be brought in, 6.1 for the next 4 years. That's an absolute steal. Of course, you have to throw in a bunch of draft picks, but that's perfectly fine. So here is a second rounder for 2040. I think that should be enough. Okay, y'all are wildin'. Here's a third round pick for 2040 as well. I am not giving you a first round pick. You will not get a first round pick from me. You are getting a first round pick from me. Here you go, a 2039 first round pick. Here's a 2040 second round pick. At this point, I don't care what it takes. Just give me Wilm. Did I give up way too much? Absolutely, but I need him on the team. Now we've reached the part of the video where players are just looking for way too much money. Jake O'Brien, I'll bring you in for 2 years at $2.3 million, but just look at some of these asking prices compared to overalls. Like $10 million and you're an 84. Like, bro, what are you talking about? 8.7 for an 83 overall. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. Give me some $1-2 million players. That's what I need for the bottom 6. I don't even care if they're not the highest overalls. I just need good players here. Like 1.4 for the next 2 seasons. Yeah, that's an absolute steal. Like, look at this dude. 5.5 million and you're an 80 overall. What has happened to the league I loved? Like, instead, I'll go with this other 80 overall player who's 33 years old, but he only wants 1.2 million. That is a big difference. Now, I have almost reached the point where I am ready to throw player types out the window. I do not care if we don't have a playmaker or even a sniper on this team. Let's run only power forwards. I would be perfectly fine with an all power forward team because I know for a fact those guys are going to score goals. Are they going to be great playmakers? Absolutely not. I am so happy Oduya just dropped 3 overalls. Wow, I am so happy about that. That just made my day. The Fort Wayne Outlaws have been an absolute disaster. That's all I can say. You know what? In situations like this, when you are incredibly down bad and nothing is going your way, sometimes you just have to trust the process. You just have to believe where there is no belief at all. We're simulating the entire postseason. We're not looking at stats. We're not looking at a record. I am just going to commentate over what happens. Obviously, we're going to lose game number 1 because why would we ever win game number 1? That just doesn't make any sense. We're taking down the Columbus Blue Jackets in 5 games. We're moving on to the second round. In the second round, we're going to see a familiar foe in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, we're winning game number 1, and we dominated game number 1. Are we going to sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning? It doesn't look like it, but we'll take them down in a 5-game series. Moving on to the conference finals, we have the Washington Capitals up next. Washington's definitely going to put some pressure on us, and they're putting a lot of pressure on us right now, but we're making the big comeback. Back-to-back shutouts. We are in the Cup final. We have the Chicago Blackhawks once again. I will not lose to the Blackhawks in back-to-back seasons. We will beat the Chicago Blackhawks. We will lock in and we will finally win a Stanley Cup. Are the boys gonna do it? Wow. Okay, I was about to throw something. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are Stanley Cup champions. When in doubt, turn the face cam off and just start yapping. But we just about blew a 3-0 series lead in the Cup final. We won the first 3. Probably shouldn't have won this game. And then we lost game number 3. But then we lost game 4. And then we lost game 5. And then we lost game 6. And when the lights were the brightest, nobody on this team could see the lights were so bright. Oduya stepped up. He won us the most important game. And for the first time in franchise history, in the year 2039, the Fort Wayne Outlaws are Stanley Cup champions. The boys were great this season. First in the entire league, we won 60 games. The next best team was the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they only won 46 games. We were that much better than every other team in the league. Stützle, Cunningham, they were the dogs for us. Turikov was way better this season. I do want to point out, as a sniper, you do not score goals. I think you're officially a playmaker. You're going to be the first sniper that's actually a playmaker because, yeah, bro is not scoring goals from me. Oduya, 47 wins, 3 shots, a 912 and a 247, but he finally did it. We finally won a Stanley Cup. 14 years into the video, 14 years into this rebuild. We're almost in the year 2040. Cunningham, Stützle, Turikov, we did it. The boys finally won. Oduya, 15 wins, 2 shutouts. McFarland's picking up a win for us, a 909 to 263. The job is complete. The boys finally won a Stanley Cup. But although I say the job is complete, technically the job is not done because we have to go win some more Stanley Cups. We have to go win a couple more Stanley Cups. One Stanley Cup is not good enough in this video. we have to win a couple more. All right, now I want to complete a trade, but the Boston Bruins are being incredibly difficult, so we have to do a 3-team trade. The first thing we're doing is picking up this prospect from the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're rejecting this deal. I don't know why they're making things difficult, but that's just the way it is. So what I'm going to do is trade the 66th overall, the 99th overall. I'll throw in that forward prospect and a little bit more. Like, I don't want to give up a first round pick, but I think I'm going to have to do that. This is stupid. This is so incredibly stupid, but we need to get this deal done. So we're giving up a prospect and a first round pick for a mediumly potential player that I don't even want, and they're still not accepting. Here's the 99th overall pick. You better accept this. Y'all are wild, and I'll give you a future third round pick as well. The Pittsburgh Penguins are being greedy, but they're just lucky I need that prospect, because what I'm doing is picking up McLean, a guy that we had not too many years ago, but now we need him again. Yasu, for some reason, you have declined in overall. You have dropped to an 82. I'm not paying you $8 million to keep on declining. We have to throw this massive package at Boston just for them to accept it. So in theory, this is what the forward core is going to look like for the near future. Cunningham, Turakov, Freegan, McLean, Festerini, Kincaid. Turakov, you're a playmaker. I don't care if they're classifying you as a sniper. You've been passing the puck like crazy. Like, you had 72 assists last season. You're not a sniper in my eyes. So you, Cunningham, and Festerini are going to be the top line. Kincaid, McLean, and Freegan, you're going to be the second line. When it comes to the bottom six, I don't care who we have here. We just need guys that can play their role. Our defense is also basically set. Like, we're going to have everyone locked down for at the very minimum 3 years. We'll sign some guys for the third pairing, but I'm not too worried about them. And after all of that trading, with our very first pick in the draft, a mediumly potential goaltender, maybe things are finally starting to look up for us. I guess there's one thing I completely forgot. Kincaid, you're supposed to be a part of this team's future. I never gave you an extension. You're only looking for 1 season. You got to help me out a little bit. Is there any way we can do multiple seasons? It doesn't really look like it. At the very max, we're probably doing a 2-year deal. And you know what? Maybe we'll do that. $8 million for the next 2 seasons. Kincaid, I need you to stick around. So is he going to be accepting that? It looks like it. Stutzel, you're going to be leaving, basically along with all these other guys, because none of them are willing to accept reasonable deals. Now, after trading for McLean, obviously the plan is to give him an extension, but I don't know how much this man's going to be looking for. He wants $12.7 million. The only way we can get this done is if I give him a no movement. I don't really want to give him a no movement, but maybe we can do a modified no trade. We'll do 50% team protection in the final season. We can do 10.5 for the next 6, I think. Actually, we'll make that 10.8 for the next 6 seasons. McLean's sticking around. Everyone else is walking. Now, I think moving forward, I'm probably not going to show you a lot of the signings in free agency, because it's just going to be small deals like this where I'm picking up like 82 overalls for 1.5 million. I'm not going to be signing any superstars. Did it just say we don't have enough cap space for him, or did he just not accept that? There's not enough cap space in future seasons. Oh yeah, we just gave McLean that massive deal. We don't have any money for next season. So the boys are coming off a Stanley Cup. Things are looking great for the Outlaws. We are finally seeing a little bit of success. However, 1 Stanley Cup is not enough for me. We have to win 2, then we have to win 3, then we have to win 4, then we have to win 5. Oduya's still the man for us. I'm not turning my back on him. He finally won us the Stanley Cup, but now it's time for him to go back to back. Now, after winning a Stanley Cup, the Fort Wayne Outlaws don't plan on losing anytime soon. The best offense in the league, the best defense, 62 wins. We're rolling right now. Turakov, 89 points. He's looking amazing. Cunningham, only 79. Surprisingly, the offense wasn't quite as good, but yes, it was. Look at the plus minus numbers. I'm not questioning this team whatsoever. Goaltending looks amazing. Oduya's picking up 8 shutouts this season. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. We know what we have to do. Alright, so we're currently off to a terrible start in the postseason. We dropped game number 1 and we dropped game 3. So we have split the series with the Tampa Bay Lightning, even though we won 62 games. Are we dropping game 5? No, we aren't. We're going to close that one out. Let's win this series in game number 6 and move on. Thankfully, this team's going to be figuring it out. Like, honestly, the Fort Wayne Outlaws just have to make everything so incredibly complicated. Like, you're a 62-win team. You're the best in the NHL. How about you beat the teams that you're supposed to beat? It shouldn't be that difficult. We've won 3 games in a row. Can we make it 4? Yes, we can. And we're moving on to the conference finals. So we're making another appearance in the conference finals. This time we're going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think we should take them down in a sweep. I think that would be a great idea. Don't get swept. I was talking about us doing the sweeping, and we just about got swept. Game 5 eliminations coming up. What is wrong with the Outlaws? Why can this team just not figure it out? Why can this team just not win the games that matter most? We're losing in the conference finals to the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is ridiculous. We had dreams of winning back-to-back Stanley Cups, but of course those were dreams, because how on earth would this team win back-to-back Stanley Cups when it basically took them 16 years to win one? Well, technically it didn't take us 16 years, it actually took us 14 years. This was year 15 right here, but that's neither here nor there. It took us 14 seasons to win a Stanley Cup. In year 15 we were going for back-to-back cups, but why on earth would that happen? If it took us 14 years to win Stanley Cup number 1, we're not going back-to-back in year 15. What are we talking about? Cunningham, Turakov, Festerini, I don't care. I don't care about these numbers whatsoever. Oduya, a 913, a 249. Your numbers don't even look terrible. Of course, the Stanley Cup champions are going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins, because why wouldn't they be? So we don't have too many picks to work with in the draft, but we are going to get one mediumly potential goaltender, starting off as a 57 overall. But the best thing about this man right here, he's a Moose Jaw Warrior legend, so you already know he's going to be elite. Now you see how basically everyone here doesn't want an extension. All these players that are saying no aren't coming back to the team because they're all looking for one-way deals. We're not doing one-way deals with 78 and 79 overalls. Zykov, I can bring you back at a reasonable price, but $4 million is not that price. I'll qualify you as an RFA and trade you away. Foot, I guess I can qualify you as an RFA as well. You want $5 million? Yeah, you're bugging. You and Zykov will be traded away together, and then we'll sign some rookies. Now, Frigon, Kincaid, I want to bring both you guys back to the team, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. Like, Frigon himself is looking for $14 million. If we give you that much, Kincaid is 1000% not coming back to the team. Like, he wants $10 million. But you know what? Maybe we can make this work. Maybe there is a universe in which this happens. So we'll start with Frigon. We'll do $13 million for the next 6 seasons. I'll give you a modified no trade. We'll do 50% team protection. That's going to leave us with, I think, about $4 million to work with. Once the salary cap goes up, we will pull off some stupid moves to bring back Kincaid. So here's what we're going to do. Zykov and Foot are both going to be sent over to the Calgary Flames. We're bringing in Roach. He can play some bottom 6 minutes, but we're also going to get a 3rd round pick in the deal. I guess we're not getting that 3rd round pick. We're just going to go 2 for 1. Now we do have to make one more notable trade, and that's picking up Smiles from the St. Louis Blues. We're throwing a prospect and 3rd round pick into this deal. I guess that's not going to be enough. They're going to need a 7th rounder as well. When it comes to our bottom 6 moving forward, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be pretty chopped. Okay, this is absurd. We are looking at 78 overall players asking for $4.6 million. What has happened to this game? So when it comes to our 3rd pairing defense moving forward, we're going to be looking at like 75 overalls. This is stupid. So the top 6 is going to be the exact same heading into this season. The top 4 defense is looking the exact same. We're going to completely ignore the 3rd pairing and the 4th line because this is a little bit ridiculous. Like, I have no clue why we can't sign anyone basically above a 76 overall, because every player above a 76 overall is looking for $3-4 million. You are not getting that bag for me. I refuse to pay you that much money to be a 3rd pairing defenseman. That is wild. I guess one thing we could do is look at some of the other 3rd pairings in the league and see what they're going to be rocking. All right, I think we're good. Just looking at the Ducks defense, they're kind of chopped. The Boston Bruins are pretty chopped here. The Buffalo Sabres are pretty chopped. Yeah, like, we have 4 defensemen on our team better than the Buffalo Sabres top defenseman. When it comes to the Calgary Flames, once again, our 4th best defenseman is better than anything you have. When it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes, you have Matt Schaefer, you have Duclair. Outside of that, you really don't have too much. So I guess 76 overalls on the 3rd pairing really aren't that bad. So I've gone ahead and reached the point where I really don't care what we do during the regular season. Whether we win the President's Trophy or not, it doesn't mean anything to me. We had a better offense than Colorado, we had a better defense than Colorado, but we're going to be 2nd in the entire league because that makes so much sense. Cunningham's having a big bounce back season, 96 points. Turakov, 83 points. Festerini, he's picking up 69 points. Offensively, we look pretty solid. Oduya continues to do his thing, but can we step up in the postseason? Can we win another Stanley Cup in this video? Like, if we go 25 years and only end up winning 1 Stanley Cup, we definitely didn't build a dynasty. Like, real talk, at the beginning of this video, the plan was to build a dynasty with the Fort Wayne Outlaws, and we have not built a dynasty yet. Like, we haven't even won multiple Stanley Cups yet. We have won 1 Stanley Cup in this video. That is not enough for a dynasty. It is time for this team to completely take over the NHL and win multiple Stanley Cups. Like, for basically the past decade now, we have been a top 3 team, but even though we've been a top 3 team for the past decade, we have won 1 Stanley Cup. How on earth does that that work? How do you dominate the regular season so much, but when it comes to the postseason, you just completely collapse all the time? We dropped the first 2 games, we're winning the next 2 after that. Can we win 3 games in a row? Of course we can't. Why on earth would we ever win 3 games in a row? Let's drop game number 6 and then just give up here. No, like, this is actually ridiculous. The Fort Wayne Outlaws just can't figure this out. We're entering the final couple seasons of this video. Granted, there's like 9 seasons left after this one, but even still, there's only 9 seasons left for this team to win a couple more Stanley Cups. And at the beginning of this video, I was looking for 8 or 9 cups. That is obviously not going to happen. But you know what? I shouldn't say that, because there is a chance that we 10-peat to finish off this video. What chance is that of happening? Like 0.000001. That is the chance of that actually happening. So let's not expect this team to somehow 10-peat to finish off the video. However, there is a chance that we win a Stanley Cup in the year 2041. All we have to do is win 4 more games. So far in the postseason, we haven't been terrible. Like, we're 12-5 in the playoffs. We've won the important games. Now all we have to do is win 4 more. So let's go ahead and do that. We have the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup final. Let's beat this team 4 times and be Stanley Cup champions. We've already beat them 3 times, so all we have to do is win 1 more game, and we're not going to be doing that in game number 5. Can we do it in game number 6? Yes, we can. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are Stanley Cup champions once again. 2 Stanley Cups in the past 3 years. Maybe this team is finally onto something. Maybe this team has finally found a way to win games when they matter. I guess the next 9 years are going to show us whether or not they figured it out. Because 2 Stanley Cups in the past 3 seasons, that's not good enough for me. I need this team to continue to win Stanley Cups, and I need us to win a couple more. Willem's going to be leading the way. 2 goals and 21 helpers, 23 points from him. Wasn't expecting him to lead the way. Frigon's picking up 20 points. McLean's picking up 19. Turakov's picking up 19. And then when it comes to our goaltending numbers, Oduya is always the man that steps up. No matter what happens, Oduya is going to be stepping up in the postseason. He's going to do everything in his power to help his team win. 16 wins, 1 shutout, a 914 to 238. Just look at this man's postseason numbers, basically the past like 6 seasons. A 915 a 238, a 913 and a 249, a 910 and a 263, a 927 and a 218, a 931 and a 218, and then a 921 and a 253. In the past 6 seasons, he has put up some incredible postseason numbers. Sadly, it's only resulted in 2 Stanley Cups. But there's still a lot of time left in this video. There's time for Oduya to win a couple more Stanley Cups. And with us being the reigning Stanley Cup champions heading into this next season, I think it's time for us to go back to back. Now, we might have just won a Stanley Cup, but Kincaid's looking for $14 million for 1 season. We're not going to be able to afford to bring him back to the team, so we're going to trade him over to the Florida Panthers. We're bringing in Louis Theodore. He's an 84 overall. He can play second line minutes for me. We're also going to get a 2nd round pick in this deal. Just kidding. We're going 1 for 1. Now, this draft hasn't really been that special for us. Like, we're not even walking away with any lowly potential players. We're just going to be walking away with this mediumly potential goaltender. You know, we're in the absolute trenches when we're not even getting lowly potential players. Now, there's a couple guys I want to give extensions to, but unfortunately, we are going to have to make some trades because I'm not going to be able to keep everyone around. We're starting off with Rocky Anthony. I think we're going to be looking at 12.5 for the next 7 seasons. I was hoping he would accept immediately, but I guess it's not going to be the case. All right, I just did a bunch of yapping about signing extensions. Yeah, I'm not signing any of these players anymore. Festerini, you and a 2nd round pick's being sent over to Vancouver. We're picking up this player. He's under contract for the next 6 seasons at $10 million. That's a good deal. So next up, Willem's going to be traded over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kuleshov, a 2nd and 3rd round pick's going to be picked up. We're a little bit low, so we have to throw in a 7th. I'm perfectly fine with this trade. We're picking up a guy who's on a contract that's not really that bad. 11.5 for the next 6. I can handle that. So the trade's being accepted. I'm very curious if this clip gets sent to me or not. Now we have to make one more trade. Rocky Anthony, I was originally going to bring you back to the team, but unfortunately we were $1 million short after all the trades we made. So when I went back to negotiate with you, you asked for $17 million. And that's not happening. So I'm going to trade you over to Philly. Yeah, that's a bit wild. The fact that this man went from wanting like $12 million to 16 makes absolutely no sense. Edler, I want to bring you to the team. I don't see why you wouldn't accept this deal. I mean, Edler's not going to be the guy accepting. It's Philly accepting. But that's neither here nor there. I just need them to accept the deal. I'll give you this mediumly potential goaltender. Don't really care too much about him. Y'all are bugging. I'll throw this medium league potential goaltender in the deal as well. I'll give you 2 medium league potential goaltenders. That was ridiculous. Now at this point, I'm actually almost comfortable running 60 overalls on the 4th line and even 70 overalls on the 3rd line. I really don't care. As long as we have an elite top 6, we're going to be in a great spot. And as long as we have 2 elite defensive pairings, that's clearly what we have here. I don't care about 70 overalls on the bottom 6. I don't even care about having a 75 overall backup goaltender. Oduya is an absolute dog. We can win with him. We've been able to do so in the past. We just got to keep riding with him. Now, after winning a Stanley Cup, we're going to keep the winning going. A 56-19-7 record. The best offense, the best defense. We've been through this time and time again. Cunningham's going to have an even better season. He's up to 108 points. McLean, 93. Freegon's picking up 79. The second line and the defense is looking spectacular as well. When it comes to goaltending, are we really shocked that Oduya is carrying the way? 44 wins, 8 shouts, a 917 and 235. I think I'm going to hold on to this guy until he retires, or at least until he's not a serviceable enough goaltender for us, then I'll trade him away. But at that point, he's going to have to be at least like a 74 overall. Even when he's a 77 overall, I still think he's going to be serviceable enough for us because he's proven time and time again he'll step up in the postseason. Because this man has basically went 6 or 7 straight years now, absolutely dominating in the postseason. He usually loses game number 1, but that's not happening this time. Instead, we're going to be winning game 1, but dropping game number 2. We're responding in game 3. Just don't drop game 4. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing here? The games in which we have lost, we've allowed a lot of goals. We are down in the series. This is the first round, by the way. I was just gassing up Oduya. There is no way I gas up this man after winning a Stanley Cup and then we proceed to lose in the first round the following year. We don't have to worry about losing this game though. We're winning that one 8-1. But we have to win game 7 now. The fact that we were trailing in this series is absolutely ridiculous, but that's what was happening. Now we've tied this series up. We're entering game 7. It's a must-win game for us, but it's also a must-win game for the Ottawa Senators. The winner of this one is off to the second round, and it better be the Fort Wayne Outlaws. If this team doesn't move on to the second round, well, we're in the absolute trenches. And you know what? We are in the trenches. We are so deep in the trenches, it makes no sense. We allowed 8 goals in game 7 after winning a Stanley Cup. We were the best defensive team in the entire league. We allowed 8 goals in an elimination game. Oduya was lit up in the 4 losses he had. He might not be a serviceable enough goaltender anymore. Oduya, you might be out the door. That is crazy work considering I was just gassing this man up. I was calling him an elite goaltender, one of the greatest in the NHL. 8 goals allowed in game 7. There's no way that happened. So the Vegas Golden Knights are going to beat the Ottawa Senators in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. So not only did the Senators beat us, but they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Final. And I don't care about the offense. I only care about goaltending. And Oduya, you're washed. It is a sad day, but Oduya is officially washed. We're moving on. It's time for us to move on from him. He has been a generational goaltender for the Outlaws, but we got to shake things up. Also, we're getting the 3rd overall pick from the Boston Bruins. I completely forgot we had that pick. So with the 3rd overall pick, we're going to be going with a 77 overall two-way forward. He's probably going to need 1 season to develop, and then he can jump to the NHL. And that timeline's actually going to be perfect for us. So Oduya, I want to thank you for the amazing seasons. You were a superstar goaltender for us, but we're moving on. We're picking up this 86 overall from the Calgary Flames. He's locked down for 4 more seasons at $5.4 million. This is an absolute steal for us. We free up $5 million in the deal, and we probably need that $5 million. Now, there's no money we have to use during the re-sign phase. We're just going to qualify 2 RFAs. This 86 overall that we picked up a couple years ago, he wants $11.2 million. He's a bottom 6 player for us, so obviously that's not going to be happening. All right, so there's 2 trades that we have to make. This is going to be the first one, picking up a left defenseman. Valentenko is going to be leaving the team pretty quick, so we're going to need a replacement for him, and that's what this 83 overall is going to be. He's under contract at $7.3 million, and that's going to be an amazing deal for us. And then with Theodore, we'll find a replacement for you by trading Valentenko. Now, what we're going to do is pull off a 3-team trade involving the Anaheim Ducks. Valentenko is going to be sent over. We're going to be picking up this RFA, but this RFA that we're acquiring is eventually going to be flipped over to the St. Louis Blues. So Valentenko and a 2nd round pick's being shipped out. The fact that we have to include a 3rd round pick in this deal is a little bit wild. Then again, Valentenko is an older player. Like, he's 34, 35 years old. He doesn't really have that much time left, so I can understand them being hesitant to accept this. I'll throw in a medium league potential goaltender, and that's going to be enough to get this one done. So now we'll head over to the St. Louis Blues and get the centerman we want. So we're picking up Costi from the St. Louis Blues. He's only under contract for one more season, but I feel like we should be able to do a reasonable extension with him. Okay, right now, bro is not working with me. He only wants a 1-year deal, so we're going to hold off for a little bit. Eventually, we will bring him back, though. I just found out there's 2 Oduias in the league. There's another one in free agency right now who is also a goaltender, and he's an 88 overall. I did not realize Oduias were the greatest goaltenders of all time. Now, we have to complete one more trade before we head into next season. That's going to be Smiles, a 4th and 5th rounder, sent over to Nashville. Sterling's going to be brought in to replace him. He's under contract for the next 2 years at a reasonable price, and I just need cheap players on cheap deals. That's all I really need right now. They're saying this isn't enough. I actually don't even know if we have anything else I can throw into this deal. I guess I could give you a 1st round pick, but if I'm giving you a 1st rounder, you have to give me something back. How about you give me a 2nd rounder and a 3rd? I think this is a pretty fair deal. Truthfully, I think we're getting fleeced here, and we are getting fleeced. The fact that you won't give me more draft picks is wild. I'm giving you Smiles in a 1st. Y'all are wildin'. Now I'm starting to think maybe it is the bottom 6 holding us back. Maybe our bottom 6 is the reason that we're not winning more Stanley Cups. Because like when it comes to the defense, it can't possibly be that because our defense is absolutely spectacular. And it can't be goaltending because we've been running amazing goaltenders this entire video. And it can't be the top 6 because we've had an amazing top 6 the entire video. Is the bottom 6 the reason we're not winning Stanley Cups? That's what I'm going to tell myself moving forward. Because in all seriousness, I couldn't tell you why. We're not winning Stanley Cups. Also, I had to sign a couple of these free agents because apparently I didn't give us a bottom 6 and I didn't even give us the 3rd pairing defense. So yeah, it's probably important that I brought those guys in. Also, Costi is now looking for $12 million for 1 season. That's not ideal. Now, do I really have to say anything here? I don't think so. I don't even think I have to look at the stats of this team, but I still will because we have to highlight some of our players. That's enough highlighting. When it comes to our goaltender, he was pretty good in his debut season with the team. 47 wins, 3 shouts, a 913, a 245. But does any of this matter if we lose in the 1st round? Absolutely not. The Outlaws are looking for another Stanley Cup. So you know what that means? Disappointment incoming. No, but in all seriousness, imagine if you were a die-hard fan of the Outlaw and you had to watch this team season in and season out and you had to live with the results every year. That would be so incredibly tough. Like, people think Toronto Maple Leaf fans have it tough, but imagine your team finishing 1st in the entire league basically every season, winning 10 straight President's Trophies, but you just keep on losing in the 1st or 2nd round. Like, at least when the Toronto Maple Leafs have lost in the playoffs, most of the time they've lost to really good teams. Like last season when they lost to the Florida Panthers in the 2nd round, you lost to the Florida Panthers. Yes, you had the lead in the series, but you eventually lost to the Florida Panthers. And then the other years when you lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning and Boston Bruins, you were losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning and Boston Bruins. Like, those are respectable teams to lose to. Who are we losing to in the 1st round? Well, we're losing to 38 win teams. We're losing to 41 win teams. We're losing to teams that we should absolutely smoke 10 times out of 10. We're in Game 7 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, see, we shouldn't be here. There is no reason we should be in Game 7 of the conference finals right now. We should have taken this team down already. We're allowing a shorthanded goal in the 1st period. We're allowing 2 more goals in the 2nd period. Are we making the comeback? Nope, we're going to be allowing 6 in this game. Once again, we're folding in the most important game. I mean, granted, maybe I can use the exact same logic with the Outlaws as the Toronto Maple Leafs, because how many times in this video have we lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions? Like, right now, the series is tied between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the LA Kings, so we might have lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions again. It doesn't look like it. LA is going to be taking down the Penguins, but I can confidently say we've lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions probably 7 or 8 times in this video. We always seem to find a way to take on the eventual Cup champs early on, and then we get disappointed. Once again, that's going to be happening. We're folding in Game 7. The offense looked really good. Was our goaltending holding us back? Oduya, we might be trading for you again. We might have to bring Oduya back to the team because this man right here, he ain't it. Also costly. I guess we can see if we can bring you back to the team. How much are you going to be looking for? 14 million for the next 4. I mean, I don't hate this, but I would prefer if we could do less money. And you know what? There's 7 years left in the rebuild. So what if we made this a 7-year deal and I just gave you a no movement? Okay, we're not even close there. So yeah, how about we do 4 years at around $13.5 million? I think that's a pretty fair deal for you. You put up some decent numbers with the team this season. I guess we'll see if you accept that. Now we're officially back in our zone. Lowly potential players in the 1st round. We're back where we belong. Now, there's just something about getting lowly potential players in the 1st round and getting multiple lowly potential players. No, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. I have seen way too many lowly potential players in this video. I'm getting sick and tired of them. Can we get a mediumly potential player here in the 4th round? I wouldn't be against that. Medium top 6, what a letdown. Alright, so we have to make some changes over the offseason. It's time for us to trade away one of the greats. Cunningham, unfortunately, it's time for us to move on. You're 34 years old. You're just going to keep on declining. You have been our best player for a long time. And you know what? You've always shown up for me in the postseason. I shouldn't say that. Have you done that? Actually, you have. You have been our best postseason performer for a long time. So I'm going to get rid of you. Does this make any sense? Absolutely not. But considering you're starting to regress, this is a move that we have to make. Let's just keep this simple. We'll trade away a future first round pick. I don't really care what it takes. I just want to get the deal done. We're bringing in a younger guy from the Edmonton Oilers, locked down for the next 2 years at $11 million. We'll extend him next season, but after that, who knows what's going to be happening. How is this not enough? All right, I guess we're throwing in our mediumly potential goaltender who is a 79 overall. Could he be a great goaltender in the future? Probably. But we have to get this deal done. Now, barring how these next 2 seasons go, that's going to decide the final 5. Like, if we can see a little bit of success over the next 2 years, then I'm going to trade everyone on this team, and we are going to try to run the exact same team for the final 5 seasons. Does that sound like a very stupid plan? Absolutely. But at this point, I don't really care what we do. Also, I found this goaltender in free agency. We're paying him $1.6 million for the next 3 years. He's now our starting goaltender. So yeah, that happened. This man that we're paying $5 million, he's now the backup. So the Fort Wayne Outlaws are once again going to be a top 3 team. Second in the entire league, a 53-21-8 record. We're not going to be the best team though. The Ottawa Senators are going to be ahead of us. But maybe that's for the best. Because I feel like when this team wins the President's Trophy, there's only like a 3% chance of us actually winning the Stanley Cup. So we're changing things up this season. We're not going to be the best team in the entire league. We're not winning the President's Trophy. We ran a 2 goaltender tandem. I don't really care who's in net for the postseason. I believe it's going to be Peyton. He seems like he was the #1 guy for a majority of the year. He got 50 starts to Denisov's 35. Didn't we draft Denisov? Hold on, let me double check that. Never mind. We had a different Denisov on the team. I know at one point there was a Denisov here. I could be completely wrong. I might be thinking about another rebuild. They kind of all just blend in together. We're taking on the Boston Bruins in the first round. Whatever you do, just don't lose in the first round. But I feel like that is too much to ask for. I can't expect this team to not lose in the first round. We are very good at doing that. Luckily, we're going to win game number 1. Can we win game number 2 as well? Of course we can. Why would we ever win game number 2? And why would we ever win game 3? So we've gone ahead and split the series with the Boston Bruins. Game number 5 is the most important game of the series so far. Can we win it? Why would we ever win it? You know what? Right to the end of the postseason. We're going to simulate the rest of the postseason. Whatever happens, happens. If we win game 6, that's cool. Nope, we're going to allow 6 goals. That is just great. I was hoping maybe I could psych the simulation out. You know what? I'll keep the face cam on, but we'll just simulate the entire postseason. That did not work in the slightest. We're a first round exit after being second in the entire league. And this just makes it a little bit worse. The Pittsburgh Penguins are Stanley Cup champions. The team that beat us in the conference finals last season is going to get back to the Stanley Cup final, but this time they're going to win. So it seems like everybody except for the Fort Wayne Outlaws is winning Stanley Cups. So not only did we lose in the first round, we lost in the draft as well. No good prospects. The Outlaws are frauds now. Now, if we want to run the same team for the final 5 seasons, and I think we're going to do that based on the success we've seen, what makes more sense than embracing a core for 5 seasons and praying that they all figure it out together? Absolutely nothing. With the way this video has gone, this makes absolutely no sense. But that's what we're doing. Costin, a 2nd round pick for Gerby. He's under contract for the next 6 seasons. That means he's here for the rest of the video. The next thing we're going to do when it comes to this team's future, Jalen Agon, I'm bringing you back. $13.2 million for the next 8 seasons. You're getting a full no movement. You're staying with the team for the rest of this video. And then when it comes to one other player that I'm hoping to keep around, we could go with Morgan Hayes, and we might do that. We're going to need a really good defenseman on the team. And you know what? We can probably get this down to like $11 million. Like, we're doing a full no movement. He has great organizational interest. We'll do $11.7 million for the next 6 seasons. And then when it comes to Edler, there's actually a good chance that we actually just ride out your contract. Also, this is a no-brainer. Denisov, if you're going to be the exact same overall as the goaltender we're paying $5.4 million, there's no reason for him to be on the team. He can be sent over to Boston. I don't care. So the Fort Wayne Outlaws get one more season before I do a complete blow up. If we win a Stanley Cup this season, I'm not going to do a complete blow up. And if we make it to the Cup final, I probably won't even do a complete blow up then. I just need this team to show me something. I need them to show me they have a little bit of confidence in them. I need them to show me that there's actually a slight chance that when the lights are the brightest, they can show up. And if they can't show me any of that, trades will be made next season. Like, I'm fully getting ready to trade every player on this team away. I don't care what it takes. I will trade everyone for rookies if I have to. Nobody is safe from being traded, and I want them all to know that. Now, this is the most important season in Fort Wayne Outlaws history. A 51-25-6 record, 3.44 goals per game, 2.57 allowed. So once again, we have one of the top offenses and top defenses in the entire league. McLean, 90 points. Frigon, 81. Aegon, 73. The offense is here. The plus minuses are looking great. Goaltending's looking spectacular. Denisov posted 44 wins, 7 shouts, a 923 and a 226. We are paying this man $1 million. I can't wait for him to fold in the playoffs. He is going to completely collapse when it matters and will be a first round exit. I'm not even turning the face cam on because we all know what's going to happen. This team is going to utterly collapse in the most important games. I just want to point out, in the last game of the season, we lost to the Boston Bruins. We get to take on Boston in the first round. I am so excited to watch what's about to happen because we know it's going to happen. We're dropping game number 1 6-1. Who could have seen that coming? We're dropping game 2 as well. Are we going to drop game 3? Yes, we are. Are we going to get swept after being 4th in the entire league? We were just swept by the Boston Bruins. You can't make this up. Like, this is actually utterly ridiculous. The Fort Wayne Outlaws are once again collapsing. We're collapsing in round number 1 of the postseason. We're losing to the Boston Bruins. We have one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses in the entire league. The offense didn't show up. The defense didn't show up. Clearly, goaltending didn't show up. Nothing showed up for this team. And with us losing the way we did, changes will happen right now. It's time to fully rebuild this team. Everyone's gone. The only guys we're keeping are the 2 players that are locked down for the rest of the rebuild. Everyone else is gone. So let the moves begin. Frigon, I'm going to send you over to the Dallas Stars, and we're going to pick up the guy they drafted 2nd overall. He's beginning as an 80 overall power forward. He's going to be joining the team, but we're also going to get 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. Frigon, you played some great minutes for me, but we have to shake things up here, and unfortunately, you're just one of the guys that have to be moved out. So we're picking up Christie and 2 first-round picks. The fact that y'all aren't accepting this is a little wild. Here's a 4th and 5th rounder. Just accept the deal. So after making that first trade, this is going to be the second one. Swanson sent over to the Ducks. Inglis is going to be brought in. He's locked down for the next 7 years at $11 million. The most important thing about this deal is he's locked down for the rest of the rebuild. I'll throw in a 6th and 7th rounder. That's not going to be enough. I'll give you a future 2nd round pick. We actually don't have a future 2nd rounder, so here's a future 3rd round pick, and that's going to be enough to get this one done. Now, after picking up Inglis, we still need a couple more guys on the team, so we're going to trade one of our medium league potential players in a 3rd round pick over to the Oilers. Boileau, you're going to be joining the team. I think you're going to play some second line minutes. I will say right now, don't expect this team to be super elite next season. There's going to be a 1-year grace period with this team. Alright, so what we're going to do is Yusufson is now going to be traded over to the Florida Panthers. O'Donnell's going to be brought in. We're going to lock this guy down for the rest of the rebuild. We're going to throw an absolute bag at him, but it's going to be worth it. Because by the time we're done with all the moves I'm going to make here, we're going to have the same team for the final 5 seasons. I shouldn't say the exact same team though, because obviously the bottom 6 is going to be changing a little bit. Why will you not accept this? Here is a 1st round pick from Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne's 1st round pick for 2046. We now have to be competitive. I am also giving up a 2nd round pick in this deal. Why do I have to give up so much? I have no clue. Also, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we check with McLean, considering he is a franchise potential player. He wants $18 million. We could probably get this down quite a bit. And yeah, we were able to get that down quite a bit. We're almost saving $4 million, 14.8 for the next 6 seasons. McLean's going to be sticking around. And then when it comes to O'Donnell, he's going to want an absolute bag as well, but we should be able to make this work. Because when it comes to O'Donnell, we're going to do 14.8 with the no movement. So I believe with the contracts we've handed out, we now have our top 6 set. So now that we have our forward core set for basically the rest of this video, Rourke, you need to be the next player we bring in, because now we have to complete our defensive core. Our 1 medium league potential player isn't enough. I'll give you a 4th rounder and a 5th rounder. That should be enough to get this one done, and it looks like it will be. Now when it comes to bringing Rourke back to the team, we're actually going to be able to do a really good deal with him. If we did 3 years, he wants $10 million, but if we do 5 years, he wants 8.6. So with that logic, we can probably do about 9.7 million for the next 5, and then that keeps him around for the rest of the rebuild. Now I think this might be one of the last trades we make. Sterling, I'm sending you over to Vegas. Labelli, you're going to join the team, and I'm going to throw an absolute bag at you that makes absolutely no sense. This might be the first time ever I have locked in a team basically for 5 seasons and said, this is the core we're running for the next 5 years. I have faith in these guys, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to live up to the faith. So here's the bag we're going to throw at Labelli. $8 million for the next 6. That's actually a lot more reasonable than I thought it was going to be. Once I know how much cap space we have after all these guys have been brought to the team, we might make another move. All right, unfortunately, Labelli's going to be rejecting, so we'll have to offer him another contract. I'm hoping that he's not asking for a ridiculous amount of money now, because that can make things really tough. Oh, he's actually asking for less money now. Okay, that works. Here's 8.4 for the next 5. So yeah, Labelli's coming back to the team still. So we still have a decent amount of cap space, and this is the final move. Des Rochers is going to be brought in. We're going to sign him for like $15 million. We're going to throw an absolute bag at him. I'll throw in a couple more draft picks. I don't care anymore. This team is going to be sticking around for the next 5 years. I'm going to do something very stupid. Here's a Dallas Stars first rounder. I am giving you a Dallas Stars first round pick. That could be incredibly valuable. You don't even understand how much value that pick's probably going to have. But I am so incredibly desperate just to bring in this defenseman. I don't care what it takes. You are getting so incredibly greedy. This is a ridiculous amount of greed. But you know I'm desperate. So here's Des Rocher's deal, 11.5 for the next 6 seasons. He's sticking around for the rest of the video. All we have to do is sign a couple bottom 6 players and we're ready. So you see this top 6 right here. This is our top 6 for the rest of the video. You see this top 4 defense. This is our defense for the rest of the video. And you see this goaltender, he'll be gone next season. We're going to be replacing goaltenders every year. I don't care who's in between the pipes for us. Every goaltender we have brought to this team has seen success. The only problem is the offense always vanishes in the postseason. Our defense is terrible in the postseason. We could have a prime Ricky Lafleur in between the pipes, and that man wouldn't be able to do anything because there's no supporting cast in front of him. So I give up with trying to pay goaltenders $15 million. There is no point in doing that. Goaltenders have always showed up for me. It's everyone else on the team. So this is our team for basically the next 5 years. We better be walking away with at least 3 cups. All right, we are not off to a great start. I trade everyone away. We get our team ready for the next 5 years, 9th in the entire league. I have made this team significantly worse. You know what? We're not going to worry about it. I don't care if this team wasn't scoring goals this season, because clearly we weren't doing anything this season, but that is beside the point. We had a rookie in the lineup. I wasn't really expecting him to do too much. He's only up to an 83 overall, so he hasn't progressed at all during the season. That's great. Denisov, cool. We're in tough, aren't we? So yeah, Fort Wayne, you have 5 more years left. Win a couple cups. I will say there is a very good possibility where I completely did my math wrong and there's actually 4 seasons left, but I'm pretty sure there's 5 seasons left. So we're 5 Stanley Cups in the next 5 years. That's the plan. We're dropping game number 2 but responding in game 3. We're going to be dropping game number 4 as well. That is just great. Isn't this just a terrific situation to be in? A must-win game 5 that we're winning 7-6. That was a Mickey Mouse win, but that's neither here nor there. Let's close out in game number 6. The boys are off to the second round. It's been a while since Fort Wayne has been to the second round. I mean, granted, it's only been 2 years, but we're not going to talk about what happened last season. We're taking on the Florida Panthers in the second round. Of course, we're dropping the first 2 games, because why wouldn't we drop the first 2 games? We're down 3-1. I feel like I don't have to jump into this series. I think we all know what the outcome's going to be. It's going to be a game 5 loss. Never mind, it's going to be a game 6 loss. I'm just preparing for all the L's at this point. 4 more years, 4 more Stanley Cups. That is going to be the motto for this team for the rest of the video. If there's 4 years left, that means there's 4 Stanley Cups left. If there's 3 years left, that means there's 3 Stanley Cups left. We have won 2, and we're over 20 years into this rebuild. That is crazy work. I do want to point one thing out though. Denisov, in the past 2 postseasons, you've been the guy for us. Granted, your numbers this season were not terrible. Last season though, I don't know what you were doing. An 821 and a 464. Maybe we need a new goaltender. Maybe we need Oduya back on the team, because that man never let me down, except he did multiple times. Let's not start gassing Oduya up. That man was an absolute bum as well. I mean, I shouldn't say he was a bum. Like, he was a relatively okay goaltender for us. Yeah, that kind of sums up his career. Oh yeah, by the way, in case you didn't realize, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. So we lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions once again. Isn't that fantastic? Now things actually might have worked out for us, because with the way that we've structured this team, we have a lot of cap space for this season and next season, so we can throw $8.2 million at this goaltender right here who's an 88 overall. I only need him for this one season and then maybe potentially next season. So somehow after everything we did, we're actually getting an upgrade in between the pipes. It's kind of wild. Now, last season might not have worked out for the team, but you know what we're good at? Bouncing back. Just kidding. We all know what's going to happen this season. First round exit, let's get it. No, it's actually kind of wild how little faith I have in this team anymore. I have accepted the fact that we are only winning 2 Stanley Cups in this 25-year rebuild. I sat down and decided, you know what? I'm going to record a 25-year rebuild. What could possibly go wrong? I am pretty confident with my rebuilding abilities. I think I know a thing or two about a thing or two. I think I'm pretty experienced in building a decent enough team. And you know what? We sort of did that. When it comes to the regular season success, we saw a ton of it. Over the past 25 years, we've probably walked away with 8 President's Trophies, maybe even 9. When it comes to Stanley Cups, that is one thing we will just not talk about. We will never talk about the postseason success for the Fort Wayne Outlaws. That is one thing that will never get brought up with this franchise. Also, we're losing game number 1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs because why wouldn't we? So I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. I'm trying to commentate over this and I just don't know what to say. We're simulating the postseason. We had a 3-1 series lead. I just want to point that out. Okay, I was just prepping in case we somehow blew a 3-1 series lead in the first round. I was making sure we were prepared. We're moving into the second round to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're dropping game 2 and game 3. We won the first game. We won the fourth game. Are we somehow making it to the conference finals? Yes, we are. Okay. I kind of don't want us to win a Stanley Cup. This might be the first time I don't want us to win a Stanley Cup, because if we somehow won a cup here, I would have lost my mind because we had a terrible record. 45, 32, and 5. Like, plain and simple, what have I liked if we won a Stanley Cup? Yes, I'm not going to lie, we probably should have won a Stanley Cup there, and I'm a little bit annoyed we didn't. However, we sucked. Plain and simple, we were terrible this season. We were a wild card team that made it all the way to the conference finals, so there was really nothing good about our team. Where did we finish? 12th in the entire league. Ever since I traded everyone away, this team's completely collapsed. We're buns. I don't really know what to say. 3 years left. Whatever happens, happens. Just want to point out we got an 80 overall in the draft, so bro's likely jumping into the lineup immediately. Also, can somebody explain to me how our scout knows this guy is going to be a gem, but we did absolutely no scouting on him whatsoever? He's an unknown prospect. This guy's supposedly a gem that we didn't scout. That doesn't make any sense to me. Boyolu, I'm not going to lie, you have been a complete and utter fraud, so I'm going to trade you away. We're getting this guy from St. Louis. I'm going to throw him a bag, and we'll keep him around for the rest of this video. I know I said I was going to run the exact same team for the final 5 years, but Boyolu has just annoyed me a little bit too much. So Modin, here's the deal we're looking at. $13 million for the next 3. I don't know why you wouldn't say yes to that. Now, some might call this cheating. Others will call it finessing. Zajac, we're going to bring you to the team. I'm going to give you 2 first-round picks. Now, looking at our first-round picks, they have a ridiculous amount of value. Why do they have a ridiculous amount of value? We don't have a goaltender right now, so once we bring Zajac to the team at 50% retained, those picks are going to have basically no value whatsoever. They're going to be rejecting that deal. That's perfectly fine. How about you only retain $3.5 million? I want you guys retaining at least a little bit of money on this deal. We're basically going to be bringing Zajac in for $6 million. They're still saying no. I'll give you more draft picks. Here's 2 second rounders. I don't care about drafting anymore. Give me Zajac. They're still rejecting that. Okay, how about you retain $3 million instead of $3.5 million? Is this a fair deal to get Zajac on the team? There we go. We have our goaltender. We just need guys for the bottom 6 now. All right, I just want to point out when it comes to our top 6, we only have 2 guys that aren't 90 overalls. The defense looks spectacular and goaltending is amazing. Zajac, just don't regress on me. Whatever you do, do not regress. 3 more seasons, 3 more Stanley Cups. You know the motto. Okay, so I don't know what's happened over the past couple of years, but I guess offense has completely vanished in the NHL. There is no really good offensive teams anymore. Like, we have the 5th best offense and we only scored 3.16 goals per game. I don't know what's happened to offense in the NHL, but apparently it's non-existent now. Like, we didn't have a single point a game score, but that's actually not a bad thing because offense is completely dried up in the NHL. I don't know what has happened to the game I loved. I don't know what has happened to the league I love. Zajac posted amazing numbers. We all know what's going to happen. We have the Washington Capitals in the first round. I don't have to say anymore. We know what's going to happen. Like, at this point, it actually doesn't make sense for me to go series by series because we already know what the end result is going to be. At some point, the Fort Wayne Outlaws are going to completely collapse and we're going to lose in the first round. Well, maybe not the first round, potentially the second round. We just know at some point, this team is going to come crashing down. We're taking down the Washington Capitals in 5 games and moving on to the second round. In the second round, we're going to have the Ottawa Senators. Are we going to lose? Like, I honestly don't know. Like, at this point, I fully expect this team to lose every game they play. But there is a chance we sweep the Ottawa Senators. We're not going to be doing that. We're taking them down 5 games. We're 8-2 so far in the postseason. We're winning game number 1 in the conference finals. We're dropping game number 2. We're winning game number 3. We're winning game 4. Did we win game 5? Nope. Are we blowing a 3-1 series lead? It doesn't look like it. We are in the Stanley Cup final. It has been a long time since we've been in the Stanley Cup final. Truthfully, I don't even remember the last time we were in the Cup final, but here we are in one of the final seasons with the team. What are we going to be doing? We're going to be folding. 8-1 in our elimination game, 4-0 in the second last game we played. In this span of 4 games right here, we scored 5 goals. We scored 1 in the elimination game. We got shut out here. Scored 4 goals here. Can't complain about that. And then we got shut out in this game. Keep in mind, the Anaheim Ducks won 40 games this season. We had a 48-28-6 record. They had a 40-33-9 record. You can't make this up. Like, this is actually a joke at this point. The game is just taunting me now. Like, I don't even care about winning Stanley Cups anymore. I really don't. But there is just no way we lost to a team that was only scoring 2.89 goals per game during the regular season. They had a goal differential of 6. That's it. 6 goals. That was the goal differential for the Anaheim Ducks. For the Fort Wayne Outlaws, it was 51. We had a goal differential of 51. In the final 4 games of the playoffs, we scored 5 goals. Like, there is just no way this save file isn't rigged. To be fair, I should have known from the very beginning. We saw who the first couple Stanley Cup champs were. We should have known from the very beginning we were never going to see any success. Zajac, 14 wins, 4 shots, a 921 and a 234. Is there anybody in the postseason that had better numbers than this man? Yes, there was. Shannon Weeks, a 930 and a 221. Okay. We lost to the greatest goaltender of all time that had nothing in front of him, I guess. Also, I guess every goaltender is elite in the NHL right now. A 934, a 928, a 915, 931, 920. Okay, I guess every goaltender in the NHL is now elite. Apparently, the NHL is just full of only 90 overall goaltenders. I was unaware of this. I was unaware that every goaltender in the NHL is now a superstar. That kind of explains why the offense isn't nearly as good as it used to be. Every goaltender is a prime Marty Brodeur. So with another season wrapped up, 2 more years to go. And what is the motto for our team? 2 seasons, 2 Stanley Cups. That's how we're finishing this video off. Now, but in all seriousness, I think this is actually my least successful rebuild of all time. And there was one time I did a rebuild, the St. Louis Blues, in over 10 years. I don't think we ever made it to the Stanley Cup final. I don't think we made it to the conference finals in that video. I can confidently say that video with the St. Louis Blues, where I didn't even make it to the conference finals, was more successful than this rebuild, even though we've won 2 Stanley Cups. So there's 2 more seasons left, so that means 2 more Stanley Cups. I just need to point out our first line. 90 overall, 92 overall, 95 overall. Looking at the defense, a 93 and a 91. And then when it comes to goaltending, a 90 overall. So there's going to be instances in the game where we have all 90s on the ice. A 90 overall forward line, a 90 overall defensive pairing, and a 90 overall goaltender. Second round exit at the very best. So the Fort Wayne Outlaws are going to finish their second last season, second in the entire league. We had 57 wins this season. But you know what's crazy? We've won 57 games before, and what has happened in the postseason? We've lost. And we have lost a number of times. The offense was great this season. Goaltending looks spectacular once again. It's going to be crazy when we lose in the first round. Actually, I take that back. We're not going to lose in the first round. We would never let that happen. We're losing in the second round. So Fort Wayne, let's keep it simple. Win in the first round, lose in the second round. We know what this team's about. We're winning game 1 and we're winning game 2. Are we going to sweep the Washington Capitals? There's a good chance we do so. We're sweeping the Capitals. It's time for us to move on to the second round. We've won 4 straight games. I can't wait to lose 4 in a row now. Like, at this point, I have 0 faith. No faith whatsoever. Even if we win a Stanley Cup, I'm going to question if we want a Stanley Cup or not. I'm going to think that the game glitched and it was broken. We've split the series with the Montreal Canadiens. All of them have been very low scoring. It's been a goaltending masterclass. We're stealing game number 5 away, and now we're going to win game 6. Just kidding, we're off to game 7. Oh, we're actually winning. That is very surprising. Well, we're moving on to the conference finals. We are 4 games away from making it to the Stanley Cup final. Now we're 3 games away, 2 games away, 1 game away. We are in the Cup final. Fort Wayne, give me 2 cups. Give me a Stanley Cup this season and give me a Stanley Cup next season. We have to close this video out with 4 Stanley Cups. We can't only win 2 in this video. So let's win 4 games. Beat the Seattle Kraken 4 times. That's all I'm asking for. We drop back-to-back games. Luckily, we're going to be winning game 4. Win game 5. Whatever you do not drop game 5. But of course, you have to drop game number 5. You know what? I shouldn't be surprised at this. And this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen right now. I'm going to simulate this entire game. We're going to win game number 6 here, and then we're going to lose game 7. I know how it works. So we're winning game number 6, and now we're going to lose game 7. When our hopes are at their very highest, like we just won a game in overtime, we made an incredible comeback in this one. Now it's time for us to lose in game 7. Like when you have the slightest glimmer of hope, when you think things are finally turning around for you, they're all going to come crashing down. It's a scoreless first period. Moving into the second, who could have seen that coming? Who could have predicted this? Except for absolutely everybody. It's wild work. It really is. Like, I have memorized the simulation in this game. I know from experience what is going to happen. I can tell you what's going to happen before it even happens. And I'm not a mind reader or anything. I just know from previous experiences what's going to happen. So we lost. Plain and simple. We lost in game 7 once again. The team was amazing. Zajac 15 wins, 1 shot, a 922 and a 233. Wasn't good enough. These goaltending numbers right here, they're not good enough. Like at this point, the only way we're going to win a Stanley Cup is if we somehow post our goals against below 2. I need you to post like a 150 or something. That's our only hope. We're entering our final season. 1 season left, 1 Stanley Cup. Just give me 1 more. Now, what can I say? Here we are. We've reached season 25. 25 years into the rebuild, and we've won 2 Stanley Cups. I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking here. I am so disappointed. Even if we win a Stanley Cup this season and we walk away with 3 Stanley Cups over 25 years, this will be by far my worst 25-year rebuild. We couldn't get anything going, even though we were a top 3 team for probably about 75% of this video. I can confidently say we were top 3 for 18 of our 25 seasons. We walked away with 2 cups in that span. Like, that is crazy work. Now our final season is officially wrapped up, a 56-19-7 record, first in our division and first in the entire league. We're going to be finishing this video off as the best team in the entire league when it comes to the regular season. Aegon, 85 points, O'Donnell, 84, Inglis, he's picking up 82, so 3-point-a-game scores, and then Zajac, his normal thing, 49 wins, 5 shots, a 911 and a 249. Before we even jump into the postseason, we have to take a quick look at the record book for this team. Like, we have to understand what this team has accomplished over the years. So when it comes to our all-time seasons, that's going to be Swanson with 12. He's going to also lead us in games played with 984. Cunningham's going to lead the way in goals, 499. Kind of wish I kept him around now that I know that. It would have been cool for him to score his 500th goal with the franchise. Swanson, 572 assists, but Cunningham's going to lead us in points, 933. When it comes to penalty minutes, McLean, 1,874. That is kind of wild. But when it comes to wins, no surprise here. Oduya, 490 wins. Shutouts, it's also going to be Oduya, 56 shutouts from him. When it comes to single game records, these are definitely some interesting ones. Cunningham's going to lead us with 5 goals. Assists is going to be Jack Hughes with 6. And he's also going to be picking up 7 points in that same game. But when it comes to saves, Eric Cartman is going to lead the way for the Outlaws. 59 saves that man made back in our very first season. I am very surprised that's the most made by a goaltender. Like, over the past 25 years, 59 saves is the most a goalie made. That's a little bit surprising. Now, when it comes to all-time stats, this is what we're looking at. Anze Kopitar at the top for games played, 2,030. When it comes to goaltenders, that's going to be Bobrovsky, 1,819. Most goals is going to be Matthews, 1,119. Points is still going to be Wayne Gretzky, no surprise there. Assists is still going to be Wayne Gretzky. Marty Brodeur is still going to be at the top in wins, but look at Oduya. He's going to be 4th. He's an absolute legend for the team. When it comes to shutouts, Marty Brodeur is still going to be at the top. 50 goal seasons. Austin Matthews is first with 13. 100 point seasons. Gretzky's still going to be first, but Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, they put some pressure on him. But now it's time for the final postseason. It's time for Fort Wayne to be let down one more time. No face cam, right to the end of the postseason. Can this team somehow win me one more Stanley Cup, or are they going to let me down one final time? I think we all know the answer to this, and I expect one thing. One thing is expected in this postseason run, and that is a first round exit. I fully expect this team to lose in the first round, but they're not going to be doing that. Surprisingly, they're actually going to get out of the first round. I was not expecting that. With the way this video has been going, I was expecting a first round exit, but maybe we'll just get a second round exit, and that's exactly what's happening with the Fort Wayne Outlaws. To finish out this video, a second round exit, losing 3 games in a row. The offense didn't show up for 3 straight games, and that is the perfect way to end this video. The Fort Wayne Outlaws, utter frauds, people that let me down time and time again. This is one of the worst rebuilds I've ever recorded. Over the past 25 years, 2 Stanley Cups. On average, 1 Stanley Cup every 12 and a half years. I have 3-peated before. I think I might have even 4-peated once. We have seen tons of success rebuilding teams. None of that success was seen today. Now, there's really only one thing I can hope for right now. When I do my 25-year rebuild with the Montreal Canadiens, they better see a lot more success than this. Demidov, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson, Monty, y'all better win me a Stanley Cup in the first 3 years. I just spent 25 years only winning 2. Y'all better win me a Stanley Cup in the first 3.